Okay. An update regarding the Pope has allegedly apologized for it. So uh,
I would like to take up a few of the many things that have struck me. Let me start by saying that it is part of your traditional wisdom. It is not only a turn of phrase, but also a view of living. In every deliberation, we must consider the impact on the seventh generation. These are wise words, far-sighted, and the exact opposite of what often happens in our day when we run after practical and immediate goals without thinking of the future and generations yet to come. Instead, the ties that connect the elderly and the young are essential. They must be cherished and protected lest we lose our historical memory and very identity. They must be cherished and protected, for whenever memory and identity are cherished and protected, we become more human. In these days, a beautiful image kept coming up. You compared yourselves to the branches of a tree. Like those branches, you have spread in different directions. You have experienced various times and seasons, and you have been buffeted by powerful winds, yet you have remained solidly anchored to your roots, which you kept strong.
okay, where to start? So I don't think all this justifies the horrific acts that had happened due to shit like fucking colonialism and whatnot. Um, and committing fucking genocide against a group of people. Um, I don't know if they're gonna do any uh accommodations or anything for that. They're probably just gonna like apologize for it and then move on from there. See if any reparations come from it. I honestly doubt it. Likely, it's just gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry that this awful thing happened, but the past stays the past. And can't do anything about that, right?
In this way, you've continued to bear fruit, for the branches of a tree grow high only if its roots are deep. I would like to speak of some of those fruits, which deserve to be better known and appreciated. First, your care for the land, which you see not as a resource to be exploited, but as a gift from heaven. For you, the land preserves the memory of your ancestors who rest there. It is a vital setting, making it possible to see each individual's life as part of a greater web of relationships with the Creator, with the human community, with all living species, and with the earth, our common home. All this leads you to seek interior and exterior harmony, to show great love for the family, and to possess a lively sense of community. Then, too, there are the particular riches of your languages, your cultures, your traditions.
Which, for the most part, have been almost completely eradicated and have only been kept alive due to a lot of the indigenous communities. It's the same. It's essentially the same thing that happened with slavery as well. Because even though that slavery was mostly done to African Americans, it was also done to the offspring between indigenous peoples and the slaves as well. There's a lot of there's a decent amount of children that came out of the slavery area, runaway slaves and stuff like that.
And your forms of art. These represent a patrimony that belongs not only to you, but to all humanity, for they are expressions of our common humanity. And yet, that tree, rich in fruit, has experienced a tragedy that you described to me in these past days, the tragedy of being uprooted. The chain that passed on knowledge and ways of life in union with the land was broken by a colonialization that lacked respect for you, tore many of you from your vital milieu and tried to conform you to another mentality. In this way, great harm was done to your identity and your culture. Many families were separated. And
I love the fact that this shit still happens. Like all this horrible colonialism and fucking ripping people from families, but like the fact that a lot of indigenous people have been fucking talking about this for decades and decades, and they're only in like only now are they getting like an official apology for the horrible shit that has happened. Like it's ridiculous. Like fuck.
great numbers of children fell victim to these attempts to impose a uniformity based on the notion that progress occurs through ideological colonization, following programs devised in offices, rather than the desire to respect the life of peoples. This is something that unfortunately and at various levels still happens today, that is ideological colonization. How many forms of political, ideological, and economic colonization still exists in the world today, driven by greed and thirst for profit with little concern for peoples, their histories and traditions, and the common home of creation. Sadly, this colonial mentality remains widespread. Let us help each other together to overcome it.
It sounds like a commie, brother. We should.
Listening to your voices, I was able to enter into and be deeply grieved by the stories of the suffering, hardship, discrimination, and various forms of abuse that some of you experienced, particularly in the residential schools. It's chilling to think of determined efforts to instill a sense of inferiority, to rob people of their cultural identity, to sever their roots, and to consider all the personal and social efforts that this continues to entail, unresolved traumas that have become intergenerational traumas. All this made me feel two things very strongly: indignation and shame. Indignation because it is not right to accept evil, and even worse, to grow accustomed to evil as if it were an inevitable part of the historical process. No. Without real indignation, without historical memory, and without a commitment to learning from past mistakes, problems remain unresolved and keep coming back. We can see it these days in the case of war. The memory of the past must never be sacrificed at the altar of alleged progress. I also feel shame, I'm saying it now and I'm repeating it, sorrow and shame for the role that a number of Catholics
Yeah, like weren't the fucking Catholics like really fucking brutal to it? Like it's ridiculous. Like fuck. I think that they, should be fucking. I think like the fucking church and shit should be trying to help or be trying to help trying to help us that when we were fucking wronged and everything by this horrible fucking piece of history. But that's not gonna happen.
Particularly those with educational responsibilities, have had in all these things that wounded you, in the abuses you suffered, and in the lack of respect shown for your identity, your culture, and even your spiritual values. All these things are contrary to the gospel of Jesus Christ. For the deplorable conduct of these members of the Catholic Church, I ask for God's forgiveness, and I want to say to you with all my heart, I am
Even if God forgives you, you're like fuck. I honestly don't think that the indigenous peoples that you help fucking murder the process and fucking take their fucking land away from them are going to forgive you.
very sorry. And I join my brothers, the Canadian bishops, in asking your pardon. Clearly, the content of the faith cannot be transmitted in a way contrary to the faith itself. Jesus taught us to welcome love, serve, and not judge. It is frightening. It is a frightening thing, then, when precisely in the name of the faith, counter witness is rendered to the gospel. Your experiences have made me ponder anew these ever timely questions that the Creator addresses to mankind in the first pages of the Bible. After the first sin, He asks, "Where are you?" Then a few pages later, He asks another question, inseparable.
But be like taking these words as an apology to all the people we have killed. I mean, that's essentially what he's saying, yes. And as someone who does have an indigenous background, like this is just fucking ridiculous. Like it's nice that they're giving like an official apology, but like at the same time it's like okay, what's apologizing for it gonna do? Like fuck, you still have like fucking clowns that are underneath your fucking religion still trying to do this shit. Like it's fucking disgusting.
From the first. Where is your brother?
It's not going to
Where
accomplish
are
anything.
you? Where is your brother? These are questions we should never stop asking. They are the essential questions raised by our conscience, lest we ever forget that we are here on this earth as guardians of the sacredness of life, and thus guardians of our brothers and sisters and of all brother peoples. At the same time, I think with gratitude of all those good and decent believers who, in the name of the faith and with respect, love, and kindness, have enriched your history with the gospel. I think with joy, for example, of the great veneration that many of you have for St. Anne, the grandmother of Jesus, and I hope to be with you that day. Nowadays, we need to reestablish the covenant between grandparents and grandchildren, between the elderly and the young.
The one main problem with that though is that fucking indigenous history, especially like after pre-colonial times, is sorry, after pre-colonial times is very fucking confusing, uncomplicated. So most people who were in residential schools don't know who the fuck their parents were or who their grandparents were, or like it's really fucking frustrating, man.
Fratelli e sorelle, auspico che gli incontri di questi giorni possano aprire strade ulteriori da percorrere insieme, infondere coraggio e accrescere l'impegno a livello locale.
We need to reestablish the covenant between grandparents and grandchildren, between the elderly and the young, for this is a fundamental prerequisite for the growth of unity in our human family. Dear brothers and sisters, it is my hope that our meetings in these days will point out new paths to be pursued together, instill courage and strength, and lead to greater commitment on the local level. Any truly effective process of healing requires concrete actions.
Nothing's gonna happen on the local level. I would be very surprised if shit actually happened on the local level. Especially when it comes to like fucking places in, say, like Alberta or Saskatchewan or like fucking Manitoba, or even like places that are apparently progressive, like fucking Ontario or BC. Like, they don't give a shit about the fucking indigenous peoples. Of course they don't. Why the fuck would they? They fucking colonize the land and living off the fucking land, so who gives a shit, right? Let's just push all the fucking indigenous peoples onto like a very small fraction of their land that we were given, and then fucking murder them when they fucking protest like a fucking pipeline going through their land. Helping people is not the priority. I mean, for what it's worth, I do like Pope Francis, but I think that the church and the the Canadian government actually needs to fucking do shit when it comes to reparations and actually fucking listening to what the fucking indigenous peoples of Canada, and well, that's gonna be the states. It's a little bit more complicated because they flat out just don't give a shit. Should be talking to them and actually seeing what they fucking need instead of just piss-assing around with this fucking nonsense that no one gives a shit about.
In a
Like asking for fucking God's forgiveness is not gonna do shit.
fraternal spirit, I encourage the bishops and the Catholic community to continue taking steps towards the transparent search for truth and to foster healing and reconciliation. These steps are part of a journey that can favor the rediscovery and revitalization of your culture, while helping the Church to grow in love, respect, and specific attention to your authentic traditions. I wish to tell you that the Church stands beside you and wants to continue journeying with you. Dialogue is the key to knowledge and sharing, and the bishops of Canada have clearly stated their commitment to continue advancing together with you on a renewed, constructive, fruitful path where encounters and shared projects will be of great help. Dear friends, I have been enriched by your words and even more by your testimonies. You have brought here to Rome a living sense of your communities. I will be happy to benefit again from meeting you when I visit your native lands where your families live. I'm not going to go in winter, eh? So I will close by saying until we meet.
Why not? What's so wrong with Canadian winters? They're not that bad. Fuck, if my people have been doing it for like fucking thousands of years, I'm sure you can survive like 2 days. fucking put on like a good winter jacket, some ski pants, some fucking good ass gloves, a Ushanka, maybe a fucking scarf or a neck warmer if you need.
Meet again.
I mean, like, him like coming down to fucking Canada is essentially like the same shit as like the Queen doing it. I mean, it's just fucking all posturing. Like, who the fuck cares?
In Canada, where I will be able better to express to you my closeness. In the meantime, I assure you of my prayers, and upon you, your families, and your communities, I invoke the blessing of the Creator. Thank you.
It's really disappointing, man.
Pope Francis has apologized for the conduct of some members of the Catholic Church in Canada's residential school system. He's hoping, in fact, to travel to Canada in July. This is the end of a historic week in Rome for
I don't know why he would pick July. I don't know why he wouldn't do it in fucking September during fucking Truth and Reconciliation Day. Like, that would make the most fucking sense, right? Like, I mean, yeah, sure. Like, we got one fucking holiday celebrating Indigenous peoples, but it took like mass fucking genocide, fucking stealing of their land, fucking, and then like years and years and years of oppression, and like thankfully, like one fucking really big movement to actually like change, sort of change shit, like whoop-de-doo, new fucking holiday, which, like, no one fucking actually cares about them. I mean, yeah, if you really want to fucking posture and just engage in the fucking nonsense that this is, it's just like, yeah, no, it would make a lot more sense to go on Truth and Reconciliation Day.
For Indigenous leaders seeking redress, seeking reconciliation with the Church. A final public audience was held today at the Vatican, and the Pope, he did not mince his words.
I also feel shame. I'm saying it now and I'm repeating it. Sorrow and shame for the role that a number of Catholics, particularly those with educational responsibilities, have had in all these things that wounded you, in the abuses you suffered, and in the lack of respect shown for your identity, your culture, and even your spiritual values. All these things are contrary to the gospel of Jesus Christ. For the deplorable conduct of these members of the Catholic Church,
I mean, like, that shit still happens though, so I'm not really surprised. Like, nothing's gonna fucking come out of it.
Molto addolorato. E mi unisco ai fratelli vescovi canadesi.
I ask for God's forgiveness, and I want to say to you with all my heart, I am very sorry, and I join my brothers, the Canadian bishops, in asking your pardon. Clearly, the content of the faith cannot be transmitted in a way contrary to the faith itself. Jesus taught us to welcome love, serve, and not judge. It is frightening. It is a frightening thing then when...
Okay, then why the fuck did it happen when you guys came over here then? I don't fucking understand that. Like, what the fuck did we do? Right? Ridiculous, man.
Precisely in the name of the faith, counter witness is rendered to the gospel.
Indigenous performers drumming in St. Peter's Square after today's final.
They're really good. I say that, they're really good.
Audience with Pope Francis. As the delegation filed out of the Sala Clementina, they spoke with reporters. Here's their reaction to the Pope's apology.
So today we have a piece of the puzzle. We have a heartfelt expression from the church that was delivered by Pope Francis in an empathetic and caring way. I was touched by the way in which he expressed his sorrow and also the way in which he condemned the actions of the church in particular regards. There is much more to do, and so an apology is a part of a larger picture.
I mean, he is right. Like, it's nice to actually get a fucking apology out of, like, fucking church, but, like, the church apologizes for, like, fucking everything, though, due to the amount of fucking colonialism and bullshit that they've fucking helped engaged in. It's, like, it's not, it's mostly just symbolic. That's all it is.
This is so long overdue.
And, like, liberals are gonna fucking attach to it, being like, oh no, it's okay. The government apologized for it, the fucking church apologized for it, so we're good, right? No, it's not fucking good.
But we're here now and we're able to move forward. And we look forward to bringing these messages back home, and we look forward to when the Pope visits and delivers a similar, if not stronger, message when he does arrive to our communities. Just think about the 30 or so folks who he got to meet with this week, and he was so moved by just those 30 people that he felt compelled to deliver this apology. Just imagine what he's going to feel when he comes to our homelands and meets with our people, sees our communities, perhaps visits some of the residential schools that still stand.
Reporter Megan Williams has been following this story all week. She's in Rome with more on what the Pope said and the reaction so far.
I think the mood of the room was extraordinarily happy. This is clearly not over. Reconciliation has not happened yet.
And I would be very surprised if reconciliation actually does fucking happen, because we already know what indigenous peoples want. They want their fucking land back. But that's not gonna happen. Like, fuck, it's... This, like, the whole residential shit, like, it's just very frustrating to me. Because, like, I've known about, like, the fucking push to actually, you know, fucking have some form of, like, reparation when it comes to fucking residential schools. Like, it's definitely not been, like, some of the first times I've heard about it. Like, I've heard about it, like, way before then, and, like, you know, have actually, when I was younger, went out, if I remember correctly, I've actually went out to, like, some of the fucking powwows and shit that actually have, like, I guess they were, like, strikes and shit, but they were, like, also, like, sort of powwows as well. But, like, no, like, it's sad that it took so fucking long to actually, like, just acknowledge that, you know, we did fucking bad, right?
But I think everybody was really positively surprised that Pope Francis issued this first apology to the Indigenous peoples of Canada and to the delegates who traveled here to Rome this week, expecting really just to have him listen, to have traveled here to Rome
Hold on.
peoples of Canada.
I have never seen a more Indigenous outfit than this. Like, it's fucking great. I love it.
And to the delegates who traveled here to Rome this week, expecting really just to have him listen, to have him learn about their pain, the intergenerational trauma, which was talked about a lot, the role of the...
I mean, yeah, but, like, as far as I'm concerned, like, when it comes to the headdresses, I only think that, you know, fucking people who have showed their worth to, like, their fucking clan or whatever should be should be wearing it, and or like I should say they're tried actually. Like I think that they should be the ones that are wearing it, not fucking dumbass racist white people wearing fucking giant ass headdresses and shit. Because like each fucking, if I remember correctly, each feather is it's a very significant part in indigenous cultures.
Members of the Catholic Church and the systemic abuse of children within the residential schools. And they were all very pleased before today's audience that the Pope actually listened. They were struck by how much he listened.
Damn, he has a lot of fucking feathers. He must be really important.
But they did not expect this apology. Phil Fontaine, who has worked a long time on these issues, the former national chief of the Assembly of First Nations, said he's extremely happy with today's outcome, and he didn't expect it, though he pushed for it, and he.
I mean, I don't really think anyone was expecting it, to be honest. Like, the church was like one of the last fucking places we were actually expecting an apology for. But like, it ultimately doesn't even fucking matter. Like, I would be genuinely surprised if, like, outside of the fucking posturing that's gonna be coming out of it, and already has been coming out of it, I'd be surprised if anything else comes. My mom and tell her that I'm covering this. So, want to know my thoughts?
He wasn't even sure that the Pope would announce he's coming to Canada, which of course was part of today's announcements.
And Megan, did you manage to hear anything in the remarks afterwards? I know you were rushing, trying to get to the spot where, you could have our conversation right here with our CBC audience. But did you hear anything else in that room?
Yes, again, the concept that this is an important step, but that action needs to follow. I mean, the Inuit delegation, the head of that, Nathan Obed, spoke about the need to bring people to justice who are accused of abusing Inuit children in the residential schools.
It wasn't just Inuit children. There was a lot more than fucking just Inuit children. Like, every single fucking tribe was thrown into these residential schools, and like no one gave a shit. What am I wanting them to do? Maybe actually fucking listening to, for starters, maybe actually have them fucking listening to what the indigenous peoples are actually saying that they want. Like, an apology is a first step, but there's ultimately a lot more fucking shit that we want from it. Like, not fucking pushing very toxic shit through the very limited amount of land that they gave and poisoning the fucking water supplies that they have. Or, taking a step in the right direction would be like giving them the fucking sovereignty over, say, national parks, for example. That would be a step in the right direction. I ultimately think that since we were here first, and we've been living off the land for a long ass fucking time, maybe we should have a little bit more authority and jurisdiction when it comes to like shit that actually goes on in this country, right? But that's never gonna happen.
Is the priest Johannes Rivoire, who escaped to France. They would like the Pope's assistance in bringing him back. There are a lot of issues that still need to be dealt with, of course, everything from, housing, clean water, all the issues that Canadians are well aware of, and also restitution, and not to mention the land claims that many of which are still unsettled. So those issues still.
I mean, of course they're going to be unsettled. I would genuinely be surprised if, actually, if any of those land claims actually. I imagine some are going to be in favor, but I have a feeling that most of them won't because, like, I'm sorry to say this, but Indigenous peoples in Canada are essentially the equivalents to black people in the US. That's how we treat them. And fucking brutalize them whenever it comes to, like, actually when they like fucking protest shit, like brutalize and murder them and a whole bunch of other nonsense. It's fucking ridiculous.
Stand, but I think what has really shifted now is that there is a sense that the Catholic Church and the Canadian bishops are on side now, that they get it, that they are now willing to work with the Indigenous peoples who are here this week representing their people back in Canada
Cap.
to have a real reconciliation in concrete terms as well as symbolic ones.
I mean, most of it has been fucking symbolic, though. Like, that's all it fucking is.
This week on the West Block, an unprecedented delegation from Canada's Inuit, Métis, and First Nations communities travels to the Vatican, and a historic apology.
And I want to say to you with all my heart, I am very sorry.
Pope Francis asks for forgiveness for the Catholic Church's involvement.
Well, it's not Pope Francis's fault. Like, Pope Francis has been fairly progressive when it comes to issues like this. So, like, I think him apologizing is like an inherent good thing. It's a step in the right direction, but it's not like his fault, right? The people that are at fault are the ones that fucking came over here and, did this shit, set up fucking dog shit schools, literally fucking committing cultural genocide against fucking people, like being, no, you have to convert to Catholicism. It's that you have your own little religion. Oh, that's cute. Let's just get rid of that. It's
In
fucking
Canada's
stupid.
racist and abusive residential school system.
We seek to hear these words of apology on our land and our homes.
We talked to Inuit leader Nathan Obed about meeting the Pope, his apology, and what this visit means for reconciliation. From their beloved Ukraine under attack to Parliament Hill, Ukrainian MPs travel to Canada to raise awareness and ask for help. We'll speak to the chair of the delegation about Russia's invasion and what Canada can do.
We need to, all of us, work together to transform for the better the culture of the armed forces.
Canada's former top soldier, retired General Jonathan Vance, pleads guilty to obstruction.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about this. Like, I knew that this shit was happening, but I guess it just slipped under my radar. Like, there's like a lot of sexual misconduct against that guy. I mean, he deserves to go to fucking prison, let's be real.
Obstruction of justice and receives a conditional discharge. We'll talk to an expert about the message that sends to survivors of military sexual misconduct and what it means for efforts to change the culture in the Canadian Armed Forces. It's Sunday, April 3rd, and this is the West Block.
Hello, it's so nice to be back with you here on the West Block after reporting from Latvia, Ukraine, and Moldova. I'm Mercedes Stevenson. Welcome to the show. A historic apology from the Pope that was decades in the making, delivered at last.
This moment, I think, reflects that
Killing religion with another makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, not only were there like multiple different religions from based off of like the different tribes and everything, there was all replaced. It was all like replaced with like Catholicism and everything.
determination and the courage of many that kept up the fight over the years.
That was former National Chief and residential school survivor Phil Fontaine. He led the first Indigenous delegation to the Vatican back in 2009. The Pope's acknowledgement of the trauma caused by the church-run residential schools and his declaration to come to Canada came at the end of an emotional week for the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations delegates. For more on the significance of the Pope's apology, I'm joined by Nathan Obed, president of the Inuit Tapiriit Kanatami. Thank you so much for making time for us today, Nathan. Can you tell us what this experience of receiving the apology and the request for forgiveness from the Pope was like for you personally?
I've spent my career working for Inuit in various different roles, but from the residential school perspective, so many Inuit are affected by either having attended residential schools or being intergenerational survivors of residential schools, meaning their parents or their caregivers went to schools. There's so much trauma and so much hurt that...
And like, we can tell, you know, that that they had fucking tremendous amounts of trauma. Fine. I appreciate you sending.
has been generated from these schools. And in the Catholic Church's case, they have chosen not to apologize for now almost 15 years after the Indian Residential School Settlement Agreement was finalized. And then...
Yeah, like, that's the thing, like, the church has been really fucking bad about it. Like, as he had stated, like, the Indian residential school system settlement, like, they didn't give a shit about that whatsoever. And like, it's only now, you know, since that there's huge fucking pushes for it and like cries about it. Even like fucking liberals were doing it as well. Like, it's only now that it actually happened. Like, this shit was like been going on for such a long time.
And in keeping with that time frame, it was 2008 when the Canadian government apologized to Indigenous peoples in Canada for residential schools. So this is long overdue. And then in the moment, I had great respect for Pope Francis in that he must have taken a personal role in ensuring that the apology happened, and also the way in which he delivered it, which was very empathetic. And
I mean, he also like, he was already like sort of on my radar before. He was also like the first pope to say like it's okay to be gay. And then a lot of fucking reactionary conservatives fucking hated that. It was so funny.
Very thoughtful.
Nathan, as you're saying, an emotional and a historic apology, but they're words, and there are so many actions that need to be taken. What do those actions need to look like?
First and foremost, we call upon the Catholic Church to immediately provide the $25 million that was part of the Indian Residential School Settlement Agreement that ordered the Catholic Church to pay as restitution to...
I do agree with that, but unfortunately, I do not think it's going to happen. Mostly because, like, it was... They'll claim it's, like, so long ago. And, like, it was under a different pope. Like, that's just something I can see they're gonna do. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. And, like, $25 million is, like... There's no amount of fucking money you can put on the amount of atrocities that the fucking residential school systems had when it came to fucking getting rid of their religion, getting rid of, or like fucking beating, and sometimes even fucking murdering indigenous children, you know, calling them dirty, and like a whole bunch of other like horrific things that have happened. Like, if I remember correctly, I think the public school system like very briefly touches on it, or at least I think it did for when I was in it, when I was in school. The curriculum might have changed now, but like I don't know. But we tend to like sweeping our atrocities underneath the rug and just be like, no, shut up, nothing happened. And if something happened, well, we're sorry about it.
First Nations, Inuit, and Métis residential schools, First Nations and Inuit residential school survivors. We also call on the Catholic Church to do all that it can to implement not only the Indian Residential School Settlement Agreement, but also the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's calls to action. We still hope that the Pope will come to Canada and apologize as per Call to Action 58 to Indigenous peoples in Canada. We also hope that the Catholic Church will work with us so that any records that they have associated with the running of residential schools are made public or made available to anyone who may be able to use them.
Forgetting mistakes and having repeat. Yep. Depending, but I do agree with everything that Nitan is saying. Like, no, that's like the bare minimum that the fucking church should be doing. Like, it's the bare fucking minimum. And if they don't do the bare fucking minimum, we should hold them accountable. Like, getting access to all those fucking records and documents and making them public, I think is very, very important. And, you know, it will provide closure, some closure for some people. Right? And, like, let's not fucking beat around the bush. Like, let's actually say and know what happened to them, right? Instead of, you know, oh, the records just taken, shut up, right?
In a path towards healing. We also have called very clearly for the Pope himself to speak with Johannes Revoir, who is a Catholic oblate who is wanted in Canada for charges of sexual abuse, and we would like to see him extradited from France, and we believe that the Pope can play an instrumental role personally in intervening on this.
Honestly, jail him. Just jail him. And when I say jail, I don't mean like fucking imprisonment. I mean fucking rehabilitation. But yeah, no, like he's done that guy has done so many fucking awful things, and I do think that he should be charged for every single fucking thing that he was for every single fucking charge that was held against.
In this case, to see justice done for the victims.
I know that's a very important case in your community and for so many Canadians, with the request that that priest, Johann Rivoire, be brought back to Canada to face these allegations against him, which are extremely serious, of sexual abuse. When you are looking at the...
What's with all these fucking high-ranking officials and sexual abuse? Like, it's so fucking ridiculous, man. Like, the military has it, like, fucking all these other people have it. It's crazy. Why has he gotten away from so long? I mean, if I remember correctly, I think he's white, so that definitely plays a part in it. As well as, you know, he also, I think he has like a substantial amount of power and money, so when you have money, it ultimately doesn't matter what the fuck you do. You can do essentially whatever the fuck you want and not pay the repercussions for it. Is why our fucking criminal justice system needs to restructure from the ground up.
Pope coming to Canada to deliver an apology here on Indigenous land in Canada. What do you think that visit needs to look like?
We need to organize it with the Canadian Council of Catholic Bishops and the Vatican so that we are all on the same page on how this visit will unfold. Pope Francis joked with us in his private meeting with Inuit about he would love to come and visit us, but not in the winter. Fair enough. Italy is not the same as Inuit Nunangat when it comes to weather, and so I could see how he would be hesitant to come.
Yeah, it's very different from Inuit Nunangat. It's it's crazy how different it is. It's not too cold. Bah. Fucking prairie winters are the coldest, and like I have no problem with prairie winters. It is so nice. Like, I mean, when it comes to fucking like driving, I won't. Cold for him. I mean, like I said, he can just get some fucking ski pants and a good winter parka, some good mitts, and maybe use a Shanka, and then, you know, he should be good. If he needs, he could have like a neck warmer or a scarf or something. Good winter boots. And then away he goes. But no, I think, I honestly think that he should honestly come out instead of July or on the, yes, winter is beautiful. I love winter. I do think he should come out on Truth and Reconciliation Day. I think that, like, when it comes to Indigenous communities, I think that would mean a lot more than July. But I'd rather have him come out than not at all. And, you know, see the fucking atrocities that had happened, especially, like, fucking Alberta and BC.
At -40. So we do hope that he's able to visit one of our communities in Inuit Nunangat as part of the larger visit to Canada, which will, I'm sure, involve going to First Nations and Métis communities as well. But we need to be involved in this and provide advice and allowed to be a participant in the way that this all unfolds so that we can do the best.
For some people, snow and winter is a whole thing. Life. Yeah, I mean, like, it's, I mean, it is definitely a nice thing to experience, but I don't, like, experiencing it, like, every single year, like, it can be a little bit boring and suck, especially when it comes to, you know, fucking shitty icy roads. But no, just kind of get used to it at some point. Because I drive with either all seasons or summer tires year round, so it's fun.
Possible job to match the ambition of the Pope with the ability to make the best of that for all of us.
Nathan, Inuit voices have often been left out of discussions about reconciliation. Do you think that that's changing and the voices of your communities are now going to be heard and more prominent in this discussion?
I think we live in a time where there is now an understanding of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis, instead of just a broad understanding that there are Indigenous peoples in Canada. We have such a different colonial history. We also have a different relationship with the government.
Not only like a different colonial history, a very different complicated history in general, like regardless of if it's Inuit, Métis, or a lot of the other different communities that do exist in Canada. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but it's just a complicated mess.
Government of Canada, whether it be through legislation or through federal government policy. So a distinctions-based approach is necessary to ensure that our voices are understood and heard in the largest conversations that happen in this country about Indigenous peoples.
I completely agree.
The more that I'm on the air talking to you about Inuit, the more that Canadians understand the difference as well. Not very many Canadians have been to Inuit Nunangat, and people know that there are Inuit who live in the Arctic, but really how we fit.
Yeah, and you want to know what we do to them? I mean, yeah, sure, they are provided with food and stuff, like it's flown in and everything, but it's outrageously expensive. It's like 2 to 3 times more than fucking getting it shipped from Amazon. Like, that is ridiculous. So what we should be doing is we should, making things a little bit cheaper for them so, they can actually buy shit at, like, their local grocers or some shit. And, like, most of the time, they go out either hunting for their own food, like, say, seals, for example, or they get the shit that they need shipped from Amazon because it's cheaper. And that's also not touching on the fact that 1 in 3 indigenous children in the Arctic go hungry. Like, that's not good.
Fit into this country and how we fit into reconciliation.
No
Also,
child
the
should have
ways
to go
in which we
hungry.
Fit into the horrific record of residential schools and also in the work that we are doing with the church. It starts with knowledge. It starts with understanding who we are and the specific concerns that we may have. And we're very fortunate to live in a time where our voice is being heard more and more.
Nathan, thank you.
I mean, yeah, he is right about that. Like, not understanding, like, a lot of the history and cultural differences between different tribes and everything is definitely very important because there are differences. And, like, the only reason why I know a lot of my Métis background is because my mom took me to things like, say, powwows and stuff like that when I was younger. So just to get in touch with that side of my family, right? Or that side of my heritage, I should say.
Thank you so much for taking the time to share with us and to join us. And we look forward to speaking to you about this many more times in the future as this.
Sounds like a great time. I mean, yeah, if you haven't been to a powwow, you 100% should go. They are incredibly fucking fun. Singing, dancing, it's great.
progresses. Thank you again for making time for us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
For anyone in need of support, there's a 24-hour crisis line available to residential school survivors. The toll-free number is 1-800-721-0066. Up next, Ukrainian MPs take their message for help to Ottawa.
I don't really care about this right now. I'm not covering this. Or the...
Live at Vatican City.
More of this.
The latest on the historic meetings underway today between Indigenous delegations and Pope Francis. The Inuit delegation began their meeting with the Pope about an hour and a half ago. At the conclusion of the meeting between the Pope and the Métis delegates, the delegates discussing the Catholic Church and its role in the residential school system, sharing their experiences with the Pope, hoping that he listens. This is being billed as an encounter. As he listens to the stories. Members of the Métis delegation spoke to reporters as they left that meeting. Let's listen to the Métis National Council President, Cassidy Caron.
We have done the difficult work of preparing for our journey, for our conversation with the Pope. We have done the work of translating our words to those that he would understand. And now it is his turn to join us in that work. He and Catholics around the world must now do the work of translating the words that we have spoken today and will continue to speak from their heads into their hearts and ultimately into real action. Action for truth, for justice, for healing, and for reconciliation.
That man. I like that man's. This guy?
For healing.
I mean, you can grow a better beard than I can, so.
Cassidy Caron, the president of the National Métis Council. Megan Williams is right there. Listening into that live, she's live with us now to begin this hour, and she will be our lead reporter all this week on what is being billed, Megan, as a remarkable moment, history made. Tell us more about the significance of these meetings.
Absolutely, Heather. I mean, it was 5 centuries ago that St. Peter's was built, the epicenter of the Roman Catholic world, and it was 5 centuries ago that ships left Europe and colonized and conquered the Americas and the indigenous peoples there. So what an historic day it is today to have Pope Francis, the leader of the Catholic Church, sit and listen to these indigenous groups who have traveled from Canada to tell him specifically of the harm done to their culture. Related to the residential schools in Canada. At the end of this meeting, we heard from Cassidy Caron.
Oh God, I hate liberals. It's not just fucking Inuit and Métis people. There are way much more fucking subgroups and other tribes that the residential schools have inflicted fucking pain and suffering on. Like, I understand that you can't go into, like, every single fucking tribe and everything, but, like, can't fucking mention them, but, like, there's more than just fucking 2.
Is the head of the Métis National Council. We also heard from Angie Crayer, who is a 85-year-old Métis woman who went to residential school in the Northwest Territories for 10 years. She spoke of this day as the happiest day of her life. She said she felt listened to by Pope Francis, and she feels like Pope Francis is now an advocate for their cause for healing and reconciliation. And at the end of the meeting, he said 3 words in English. He said truth, justice, and healing. A very powerful day for the Métis and, of course, the Inuit, whose meeting with the Pope has just wrapped up as well.
Today was the most wonderful day I ever had all my life. It helped erase those 20 long years that I had spent to meet the gentle, kind person and even got a hug. And I'll tell you, I'm priceless.
You got a hug from the Pope?
Oh, yes.
Aw, oh, that's cute. Yeah, no, like, it really frustrates me that this sweet old lady had to go through the fucking residential school system. Makes me mad. Drugs are the best. Yeah, they are. You know, it just frustrates me that, like, a lot of good brothers and sisters had to fucking go through this horrible shit and have to relive their past whenever it's brought up.
You say them, I was down, and they had to kick me away.
That was the 85-year-old Métis elder from Grand Prairie talking today, Angie Creer, about this incredible encounter with Pope Francis. She says it doesn't give her closure. She still wants to find the children who disappeared in these schools, but a historic moment and a huge step forward, she said.
You know, she had talked about feeling so grateful to be there, so excited at the prospect of meeting the Pope, and it sounds like it met her expectations, and it certainly sounded like it met Cassidy Cairns as well, and she calling this a comfortable meeting, Megan. She talked about in that briefing, and you could see her there alongside Angie, that she was wearing a traditional handmade beaded jacket that she'd been given to wear for the meeting specifically, and she talked about giving a pair of red beaded moccasins to the Pope. He doesn't wear the traditional papal red shoes, but she wanted to remind him of the legacy of those who came before, in whose shoes he walks. What else did they want to remind the Pope of? What else are they hoping that he will agree to?
I mean, even if it is just for, like, posturing and shit, I think he 100% should wear it. Like, I don't really see a reason why he shouldn't. And if he turns it down, I imagine that a lot of Indigenous communities are going to be pissed off about that. Like, even though it's mostly just symbolic.
Well, of course, Heather, they all want him to come to Canada. They want him to come to the Indigenous lands where the harm was done, and they want him to issue a formal apology there. The Inuit group that has just wrapped up meeting with Pope Francis as well is calling for the same thing. They would also like concrete actions. They want restitution to the victims of the residential schools. They also want the Pope to put pressure on France to get back, to bring back into Canada a French priest, Johann Rivoire, who is accused of abuse dating back to the 1960s. He left Canada in the early 90s. He was charged by the RCMP.
I mean, of course he'd fucking flee. Why wouldn't he? Like, of course, it's only natural that he'd want to flee if he's being fucking chased by the cops and shit. No, like, he should 100% be charged for everything that fucking committed.
MP a few years later, but for the past 20 years he's been living in France. They want very specific things, and one of these is to bring justice to the young people in the 1960s who were abused, and to have the Pope's help. They stress the Pope's personal help in helping healing and addressing very concrete issues, such as this priest who has not yet faced justice.
I mean, okay, but what about, like, all the other fucking priests that haven't faced justice? Like, there are still plenty of them out there, and they should 100% be brought to justice for the horrific acts that has happened up until, like, the early 90s. Like, it's ridiculous that, you know, the shit, they get away with this shit. It's so fucking stupid.
Megan, thank you very much.
the last one I
Let's stay
have
on
of
this story.
this.
Our Chase team has reached Tanya Talaga. She's an Anishinaabe author and journalist. And Tanya, I want to get right to it. You were probably listening. The Pope apologizing for the conduct of some members of the Catholic Church. What did you make of that?
Well, it's an apology that is long overdue. It's an apology that stems back 500 years. This is such a historic moment. And I think for survivors who came to Rome with the weight of their stories, the weight of their ancestors and their families with them, I think it was an incredibly important moment.
He did not, however, apologize for the church's role as a whole. If you listen to his words, it was for, some members of the Catholic Church who were involved in Canada's residential school system. Do you think it fell short in any way?
100%.
Well, yes, I do think it fell short. I think it's 7 years too late, to be honest with you. I mean, if we look at the Truth and Reconciliation calls to action, action number 58 is a call for the Pope to go to Canada within 1 year of the release of the TRC report, the final report, and to issue an apology. I mean, I think that the Pope was very careful with his words here. I think that for years there has been a move to prevent the head of the Catholic Church from apologizing to First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people. Why? Because of liability issues, because of what will happen next. I mean, this is only the beginning. Now that we have an apology, there are many
My man's got
steps
the moves.
forward.
What's the next step?
Well, the next step is him coming to Canada. He said in his address that he'll be coming in the summer, in July. And when he comes, he needs to come to a planned trip by Indigenous leaders.
Again, I think it would, if they want him to come, I think that come on Truth and Reconciliation Day. I get, they want him to come, sooner, but, I think it would be more symbolic and a lot more meaningful to a lot of Indigenous peoples if they actually came on, or if he actually came on that day and actually did shit in the country and visited the fucking horrific sites of the residential schools. Even if it's just a couple, that's way better than coming in July, in my opinion.
By First Nation, Métis, and Inuit. They have to set the agenda, not the church. And they have to be the ones bringing the Pope to the communities where he needs to say sorry again and again and again. And now it's up to our leaders to also present the Pontiff with a national action plan, if you will. What we would like to see. How do we move forward? This is just the beginning, and we need to tell them what we want.
Is there enough time? Because it's not confirmed that the Pope will visit Canada in July, but it could very well be that time of year. Is that enough lead time to get that plan in place so that there is a strategy?
I think it should.
Absolutely, absolutely. I could think of a couple of strategies right off the top of my head. And one of the strategies I think of, and one of the things that the Catholic Church could help right off the bat, is with helping to recover our lost children. The Catholic Church has so many resources. Wouldn't it be wonderful if they put some of those resources, some of that wealth in that?
Just a quick update for anyone living in BC. Apparently, the mandates for vaccine cards are to be dropped, which I think is stupid.
Power by opening up records, also helping to fund the search for our children, not just at church grave sites on our First Nations communities, but also too at Indian hospitals, also too at the schools. I mean, now that we have this apology, we have to make good on restitution. We have to take this forward and make sure if the Catholic Church is, as it says it is going to, help us move forward, that's one way we can do it.
Are you afraid or worried, I should say, concerned, that this apology could overtake all of that? That, okay, so now there's an apology, now the rest of it kind of takes, what's that back burner status, if you will, because the apology came through?
Absolutely not. An apology is just words. We need to back those words up with action. I mean, it's
I
just
completely agree.
one of 94 calls to action.
She's right. There is, like, an apology is just words, and like, whilst I do think that they are meaningful words, I think that there should still be like a lot more shit that the fucking Catholic Church should be doing.
We have only 13 of them truly fulfilled in Canada. There is a lot of work to be done, and words are empty unless there is action behind it.
One of the things that was said by, I believe it was the First Nations delegate in the news conference today, was finally we can begin to put some closure to this. How big a word is that after, 100 years?
Yeah, so longer, right?
Yeah.
Well, every single person has their own journey. Every single person has their own path. Survivors, they have lived through things. So many cases, they have to go on their own steps of healing. We as community members can be with them and help them along the way, but our communities have been touched as well. If you didn't go to residential school, if you're an Indigenous person, you know somebody who did. You had a family member who went to school. You had a parent, a grandparent.
And unfortunately, due to my complicated history with that, I don't know which one of my relatives did. And I imagine that the amount of fucking suffering and abuse that they've had to go through is ridiculous.
A friend, an auntie, an uncle, a grandparent, somebody you know went to the school. And when those schools were closed, what happened afterwards?
And for the record, the last residential school to be closed was in 1998, if I remember correctly. So yeah, that shit has been going on for far too long.
The fallout, the generational trauma it touches all of us, and you see it all over Canada. And we see it in the 60 Scoop. We see it in our jails. The jails are full of our people. What has happened to our people because of the...
You want to know what the conservative response to that is? They're criminals. That's why they're there. Well, no, that's not true, first of all. There's a lot of fucking racism when it comes to Indigenous peoples. A lot of cases, say kidnappings, for example, when it comes to what makes them criminals. The fact that they're brown, that's what it is. It's essentially like being black in America. But there is a lot of over-policing in their neighborhoods. There's they have had a lot of run-ins with the police when it comes to like protesting, as well as, a lot of Indigenous people are also very fucking poor as well, so that doesn't really help either. And like, when you're poor, trying to get by the skin of your teeth and to make sure that, you fucking kids have something to eat, you're going to do whatever it takes to fucking feed your kids. And then, the fucking parents get thrown in jail for it because, oh, you can't steal and we can't fucking, actually do shit that actually matters.
Residential school system, and because of policies that were put in place to quote unquote beat the Indian out of the child. We have so much to overcome. This is just the beginning. All of this is related. It's not just an isolated apology.
Yeah.
This is but there's a long way to go.
One other question has come to my mind, and that is that you're in Rome, Tanya. How did that affect your heart? Being at such a significant moment. I mean, you're an author, you're a journalist, you're good with your words, but what about the emotion, you know?
It was hard coming here. I don't think anybody who came to Rome was excited to come. I know I wasn't. It was hard being here. It is hard being here. You know, I think of the members of my family here. I think of my mother. I think of my lost sister. I think of my uncles who were in the 60s scoop. I think of one of my cousins who didn't even know he went to residential school until he read his children's aid file. He just didn't remember.
Well, yeah, and like that's the thing. Like they throw people in like as young as like say even like 4 or 5. Like that's how fucking bad it was.
I think of all these things, and these are the stories we carry here with us. These are the people that are with us here. It's a personal journey that we're all taking in a way, but in a way we're all connected because all of our families have the same story over and over and over again.
And that is the thread, isn't it? The important part of all of this, that unity. Tanya, always great to talk to you, and I certainly wish you continued strength.
Miigwech, thank you.
Tanya Talaga is an Anishinaabe author and journalist. She's in Rome for this week's historic meetings.
All right, there's one more video that I want to watch on this.
Our people have asked for a trip like this for me.
And then after this, we can move on to some fun stuff. There's a new Michael Reeves video that I want to watch where, you know, he lets his goldfish trade stocks. And there's a new internet historian video that I want to watch as well.
Many years.
Indigenous delegates from Canada will meet with Pope Francis this week at the Vatican. The delegation will push for a papal apology over the Catholic Church's role in running residential schools.
The public view in Canada reaffirms that a papal apology is absolutely required to advance the healing and the moving forward.
The hope for many is that the Pope eventually apologizes on Canadian soil. It's one of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's 94 calls to action. The delegates are also expected to ask for financial support for survivors who attended residential schools, and they want the church to release all records relating to those students. Dene National Chief Gerald Antoine is leading the AFN delegation to Rome. As a residential school survivor, the trip is also a personal one. I spoke to him about what he hopes the meetings will accomplish.
So let's see what his initial, what he wanted initially to be covered in the speech and shit that the Pope gave.
And Chief Gerald Antoine joins us now. Nice to see you, Chief.
Yes, it's good to hear you, and also good to know that our people are out there listening, including the Canadians.
Yeah, and listening at an important moment as you get ready to head to the Vatican. What are your expectations? What are your hopes for this meeting, Chief?
I guess my expectation is that I work in a good way, leading the delegation. These delegations are very special people. The First Nation delegation is comprised of First Nation representatives from every region in Canada. It also includes residential school survivors. It includes family members of survivors, leaders, elders, youth, and also spiritual advisors from several different nations. And so as First Nation people, and our culture and spirituality are very fundamental to our identity and our relationships with each other as well as with Mother Nature. Mm-hmm. And so our mission...
That's one thing I really like about Indigenous people is that we have a very strong association with nature. And the fact that, you know, like fucking oil companies are like polluting all fucking, not just like the land, but like fucking oxygen and everything, and like it's literally fucking killing us. And like a lot of indigenous people have been very strong uh and very vocal about when it comes to the climate change movement. Like a lot of them generally tend to work behind the scenes, like a lot of black people do when it comes to other issues as well. I'm sure that there are some as well that do work it behind the scenes when it comes to climate change stuff as well. But yeah, no, like some of the most important people when it comes to climate change actions and movements, a lot of them indigenous because of not only their culture, but like they care about like what happens to the land, right?
Is to share the messages of our people who have gone through the Indian residential school. And not only that, but other things, forms of genocide, and also the assimilation
He's right.
processes that we've endured.
He's
today.
right. Regular genocide and also cultural genocide. Both of which suck ass.
And my hope is that the head of the Catholic Church apologize. All the churches in Canada have apologized, and the Roman Catholic Church is the only one that hasn't apologized. And
What would that mean for you? What would that mean for you and for the people you are going over to represent?
well, if you look at what's going on with Ukraine, you know, they're going through the same situation, but it means a lot. There's wrong done, and it has to be apologized for. So that is one of the steps. It's not the only step, but it is a start of putting closure. Not only that, but the possibility of working out the things that needs to be worked out to right the wrong.
Yeah. You yourself, Chief, as well as being...
I mean, he's going to have to do more than just apologize, though. See what happens in July, I guess.
Dene National Chief, and that's part of the reason you're going. You are also a survivor, a residential school survivor. I don't know what you want to tell me about that experience and how it changed you.
I can relate to all the survivors that have gone through these things. First, it has really impacted our families. You know, we were children at one time when we got abducted and we got forcefully moved to another institution. We were prevented of being ourselves. We were prevented from being at home. We were prevented.
And in the case of what had happened with the whole like orange shirt movement on Canada Day last year, you weren't even allowed to have any belongings as well, because the orange shirt movement, one lady, I don't remember her name off the top of my head, was given an orange shirt from her mother that I think she had made by hand, gave it to her daughter, and the Catholic Church decided to take it away and destroy it, from what I understand.
From our teachings of our grandparents, we were also taken away from the multi-dimensional way of our way of life, also the educational processes. And so these are the hills that that we all climbed. This is
And like the funny thing though is that like they were like indigenous peoples were thriving off the land before like all the colonial powers got here, and then like committed genocide. Like they're fucking thriving. We were, you know, just having a great time. Like and also like having a rich culture as well.
It's also the hills that I've climbed. Today, we're at the bottom of a big hill, and where we look around, we see each one of us here, including the church, also the Canadian state. We're all here at the bottom of this big hill that we need to look at how we need to climb. And so, you know, this is a challenge. I see that very much hope in it. And for us, our people, we've been telling the truth to date, and we're going to continue telling the truth.
This isn't the
Well, people like you should lead or should help lead us on how to get up the hill, because you'd probably know how to get up the hill better than any of us, any of the other people would know, right?
first time that Indigenous leaders in Canada have met with a pope. I talked to Phil Fontaine the last time a delegation went over to Rome, and I wonder what you think it will be different this time, or why it matters for it to happen differently this time.
Since then, there's been some changes. There's some development.
How would I get up the hill? Well, I would actually, you know, if I was in a position of power, I would, or just any form of leadership, I would make sure that those are held, those that have done wrong are held accountable. Reparations are essentially a necessity. You know, working together with Indigenous leaders to help restore a lot of the wrong that we have done. You know, not making the Indigenous people a second-class citizen on their own fucking land. That would be a starting point.
There's openness, also the uncovering of the unmarked graves.
Yeah.
Our people have been saying these things all along. We've been telling the truth. And today...
I mean, he's right about that. The unmarked graves have been a huge thing. Like, even before the 2020s or 2021 stuff, it was still fairly big. Like, if you had like any knowledge or like had talked to like any Indigenous leftists, they will tell you that like there still are like a shit ton of unmarked graves that are purposely being hidden because, you know, you don't want the government doesn't want to look bad and everything. And same thing with the church. Like, it was a joint effort by them.
We have actual evidence, physical evidence that our truth is the truth. And so that's the difference. The other thing is that this Roman Catholic Church is the only church that hasn't apologized today. And so I see that they need to do that. And so we're also sharing that message to the Pope Francis.
Yeah. Let me end on this, Chief. You're going over with this hope that there is an apology, or even that the Pope come to Canada and make that apology official. Is it hard to go to, will it be hard for you and others to go to the Vatican, to go to the seat of the Catholic Church, a church that failed so many Indigenous people? Will it be difficult to be in that space, do you think, and be near the Pope, knowing what you've experienced and what others have experienced?
the Pope is also a human being. We are also human being. And the directive of the Pope office had directed the doctrine of discovery. And in that, in these directives, they looked at us as non-human, and that this is an empty land, and that they're given the directions to do what they needed to do. And history provides all these evidence that this is how it unfolds. That was wrong. And we cannot do anything about it because it did happen. However, we need to tell the truth. We need to share this dark truth. Our intention is not to create fear or a sense of panic, just mainly and simply to share the truth, and also to get them to recognize and acknowledge us as the original nation of families, and that we have a very special relationship, and the priority is to do with the land, and the relationships is with ourselves, so that way we could be able to harmonize with the natural world, and also have a special relationship with other people. And this is what our people have been sharing, and this is what they've been insisting, and this is what we need, and we need to have that understanding as we move forward.
Chief, I hope the trip goes well. Lots of people will be watching and thinking of you and the people going over there. So I thank you very much for your time.
Yes, it is all about them. It is for them, and we'll do our best to be able to share their message to the Holy Father.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it.
Okay. Let's move on to some fun stuff now. On to Michael Reeves' video on, him giving his goldfish access to trade stocks. So let's have some fun.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's the wrong video.
"2:30 a.m. Time to rise and grind. First thing I do is grab breakfast. Wish I had time to cook, but I'm far too busy for that. It's been 6 months since I quit YouTube to trade stocks full time. Social media is nice and all that.
I like to get the day started with just a nice casual jog. Just relax the body, get your blood pumping, get a good start to the day.
But the real money is in the stock market. Now we can finally get to work.
Stock, options, futures, derivative futures, buy CumCoin. Take all your savings, put it into CumCoin. Day trade that option, trade that stock. CumCoin is worthless. I sold every last drop of my CumCoin.
Sell it all, and then drop
buy it.
Got it. And that's just a day in the life of a stock trader, baby. I executed the stock trade, and it gave me money. So make sure to tune in next time for... Listen, I don't know how to trade stocks, man. I lost all my money on Robinhood.
Papela.
I have no idea what I'm doing. If only there was something that could trade stocks for me. Hi, I want to give my goldfish Frederick the ability to trade stocks. Now I know what you're thinking. Michael, you own a goldfish? And Michael, why haven't you posted a video in 8 months? Anyways, this is my idea. Right here. We track Frederick's position anywhere he is in the tank. Then, every morning when the stock market opens, he'll be prompted with 2 random companies. He'll choose one by spending more time on that side of the tank. Then, the computer will take his decision and buy that stock with the money of whoever is sponsoring this video.
But before any of that, we need to track fish. You might think I built my fish tank against a blank white wall because it provides ample lighting and doesn't overstimulate my fish. Wrong. I did it so I can write the detection software to just look for orange pixels of the fish and it won't get fucked up by a shitty, messy background. Here's some code I wrote that displays what the camera sees. It's not much, but we can add a function in that filters out specific colors, like apartheid. Then we can tell that function to filter out every color that isn't orange. Now this is kind of a complicated
Bro, come on. Oh, that's funny. Apartheid was fucking horrific. But that's really funny.
Thing, so just try to keep up with this.
Apartheid? Apartheid is essentially a lot of Europeans went to South Africa and essentially did the exact same thing that they did to the indigenous peoples here in Canada to the citizens that were living in South Africa. And apartheid separated the white, brown, and something over there called colored.
And bada bing, bada boom, we got a color mask. But as these little
So he's making a joke on how he's separating different colors with the software he's writing.
speckles of shit in it. We just gotta sprinkle some post-processing code on there and clean it right up. I did not have to Google how to do that. Shut the fuck up. Then we take that post-process image, find the
Programmers be
location,
like,
this little blob of pixels, draw a circle around it, then take that circle, copy it, draw it on the original image. Bada bing, bada boom, tracking fish track. And honestly, that was most of the hard part. I just added some random stuff like the tickers and some logic, and I think we're ready to test it without actual money, because I don't know if it works. All right, so you should see these lights turn on, including the fish tank one, because I wired it to this relay box over there, and the program should turn them on automatically. Anytime it will turn them. God fucking damn, is it broke? No, the lights are on. Boom, tickers at the top. Boom, the fish is choosing. He's favoring the MO one. Ooh, what'll it be? Ooh, what's he gonna? Oh my god, it fucking worked. That's so amazing. The fish bought stock. Well, I mean, he didn't buy the stock, but like he chose his stock. That's amazing.
That's
he bought
awesome.
Altria over Boeing. Excellent choice. I think we're ready to hook it up to the actual stock market, which is actually going to be super easy. There's like 1 million of these stock market APIs that let you buy stocks with just a little bit of code. I'm going to use this one called Alpaca API. They're all pretty much the same though. And really all I have to do is add a few lines to the fish code, and yeah, I guess we're done. Yeah, Frederick can start trading stocks anytime. I'm going to go upstairs and start it. What is that? What is Wall Street Bets? Wall Street Bets is a subreddit for dipshits who try to get rich quick on meme stocks. We like the stock. We like the... Like this idiot who recorded himself losing...
Remember the whole, like, GameStop thing? Oh, that was so funny. I was really happy that they did that, and it was so funny to watch it happen.
$50,000 in 2 seconds. Their
Dogecoin.
investments are not based on logic.
Yeah.
They're based on memes and tendies. Those guys are fucking geniuses. Their stocks only go up. Wait, what? Fuck, I could have built a bot that scraped the Wall Street Bets subreddit and just bought stocks based on what they posted there. Should I just start over? But Frederick already knows how to trade stocks. But those guys from Wall Street Bets literally only pick good stocks. You've seen GameStop, you've seen Tesla, you saw Frederick in there. He was fucking incredible. Just stick to the plan. Wall Street Bet said it would be free tendies. What do you not get about free tendies? I don't know. I wish, like, if only I could make both and then pit the two systems against each other in a super sick competition of fish versus man to see which one makes more money.
Oh, yes. I wonder who's actually going to win this. Oh, this is going to be great.
Frederick takes an early lead by buying Nike stock. But those dumbasses at Wall Street Bets buy Lucid and they're close behind. This is going to be it's me, the bitch-ass audience. Michael, you can't just represent an entire community with a computer program.
Yes, you can.
Yes, the fuck I can. For this bot to work, we need to know how Wall Street Bets
Goldfish
feels about
wins.
certain stocks. To do this,
I have a feeling that the goldfish probably will win. And it'd be really funny if the goldfish
we're
did
going to use
win.
sentiment analysis, which is a natural language processing technique that uses machine learning. Say we're looking through my YouTube comments. One says, "Die forever, bastard. I hate you." A sentiment analysis bot would classify that as negative. And if we look at another one that says, "I think you're great. Also, I have a super cool robot idea for you," a sentiment analysis bot would classify that as super fucking negative because your idea probably sucks ass. To train a sentiment analysis bot, you need a lot of labeled data. So a lot of samples of text that are labeled positive or negative by a human. There are a lot of these data sets out there that are publicly available, but the text is like normal person talking. Wall Street Bets,
they talk about tendies and YOLO and boomers. Weak hands or paper hands. Stongs, just YOLO.
Very unique vocabulary. Therefore, I needed to make my own data set using their fucked, weird Wall Street Bets language. So I went to r/Wall Street Bets, sorted by top of all time, downloaded the top 10,000 posts, and all that's left to do was to label them as positive or negative. So I sat down with a nice cup of coffee and labeled the data myself. No, that would have taken 4 or 5 hours. That's fucking stupid. Instead, I spent an entire month learning the React web framework and building a website that would allow users to log in and label the data for me. Then I tweeted asking Wall Street Bets members to give me their Reddit usernames. I then plugged those usernames into the Reddit API, got the top 10 accounts with the most Reddit karma who were active on Wall Street Bets. Those 10 people labeled 1,000 posts each, 10,000 posts total, and created the data set for me. And that's how you turn a 5-hour task into a 1.5-month task.
Programmers be like, no, I know how long that stuff can take. Programming's fun, and I personally think it's not too hard. But yeah, no, it definitely does it. I mean, yeah, like, why not get some other dumbasses to do your work for you, right?
Because I'm a programmer, and that's what we do.
Yep, that's true.
I use that data set to train a sentiment analysis bot, and now every morning when the fish is trading stocks, this bot is going on r/Wall Street Bet. It's looking through the top posts of the day until it finds one it likes, and then it buys the stock.
I wish I could learn that stuff effectively. I mean, essentially what it boils down to when programming is you're just problem solving. And like if you know like the statements and everything, like say if or else or if else, or like even setting up stuff like a library or something like that, you're fine.
That post is talking about. So that's how that works. Let's get back to the competition and see which one is better at trading stocks.
Insane things are happening, Michael,
this
right
is
now.
Crazy stuff going on. Interesting buy from Wall Street Bets. I don't know if the GameStop play is going to work out.
People love games, Michael. They fucking love games. Big Tank from Wall Street Bet could be like another 9/11 situation. Fish is going crazy buying Costco and Facebook.
Meta now.
It's a crazy day. There's a lot of volatility right now.
Very confusing. I don't know where this one's going to go. I'm going to get an expert's opinion on this for sure. Have a nice day.
You're all set.
Hey! This is Graham Stephan. He does financial investing videos and is also rich as fuck.
Hello. So you do money.
Yeah.
You have money.
No, why would you do that?
Ask you questions. I'm gonna give you 2 portfolios. I just want you to look them over. Which one do you think is better?
Okay. Portfolio 1's interesting. Now portfolio 2. Okay. We got a lot of the memes here. The market's been down. Pretty much everything has been down the last 3 months.
Yeah.
But if I were to, I would feel way more comfortable with the first one.
What if I told you that an algorithm has picked all of these stocks?
I would believe it.
I'm gonna give you the performance.
Wow. The algorithm has performed. Now, this is only over 3 months.
For the portfolio 1 is managed by Frederick. This video is about investing. So like maybe giving viewers an opportunity to invest into a fund that is managed by my fish.
So it's a fish.
Yeah.
He looks so confused.
Things have been going crazy. What did Graham say?
His money is on the fish.
Peaks and the valleys for Wall Street's bets. It's better and bigger than anyone. They can win.
But Graham's money is on the fish.
I fucking hate you, Graham Stevens. Big fall.
What the fuck was that? What was that? Huge. It's not looking good for Wall Street Bets right now at all. What is that?
Oh.
What is that?
Oh.
This could be it.
It's climbing.
It's the comeback.
It's climbing. It's to the right.
Holy.
It's to the right, bro.
That was such a big jump.
Oh. It fucking died. The fish won! Let's go back! Let's fucking go!
A goldfish beat all of a subreddit. Oh, that's great.
Fuck you, Wall Street Bets! Get shit on by a fish! Fucking go! That settles it. Fish is the superior technology. So that's it, right? No. I think I can use this fish technology to create a legitimate business. I've been working on a startup proposal for the last couple of days, and I have a meeting set up to try and get some investors. So I'm gonna... It's like a venture capitalist startup meeting.
Except it wasn't that at all. It was like this weird fucking hype house for startup founders. So each one of these people has started their own company, and the management has allowed me to pitch my startup idea to them.
Hello, everybody. My name is Michael. I'm here
Oh
with...
no, how does he found like the worst fucking people for this video?
Presenting Reefly, it's a small fintech startup. You've seen it all
I sure hope he makes fun of him, by the way. I really hope he makes fun of him.
happening already. Articles like this. A lot of inexperienced people are losing money in the stock market. That's where Reefly fits in. We have a couple of algorithms going. WSB, mainly sentiment analysis. The second, Fish, tracks analyst movements. WSB is performing well below market average, but Fish is outperforming the NASDAQ by some 13% last quarter. Honestly, the main reason I'm here is because of the performance of that Fish technology. It's performing very well, but generally, we think it can be performing even better. Pretty sure it comes down to a few things. Tank health, clarity, like of the water. We're probably going to be improving food and like better filters in general. Oh, I already covered that. We need to know how long the fish can perform. Looking into the data, the lifespan of this species is generally around 8 to 12 years. We think that with better water parameters and more attention to the food, we can get it up to an outlier of 20 plus years. The fish name is Frederick, and that, thank you. Do you have any questions?
Oh, you did what I was hoping he was gonna do. He made fun of these people. Confusion on their faces is funny. I mean, yeah, like half of the time these people don't know if you're making fun of them or if you're being serious. He's clearly making fun of them, and it's so funny.
I have a lot of questions. So the fish is determining your stock picks?
Yeah, it's fish. It's fish is the idea. So we've got a front-facing camera. The fish is prompted with 2 stocks. Whichever side it spends more time on, just that stock. Do you have any more questions? You know, not everyone can see the vision, and that's okay. I'm not. It's not like I'm mad. I'm not mad or anything. Fuck! Why don't they understand? Fuck!
I guess the world just isn't ready for this technology. All I wanted to do was get super fucking rich. But maybe I don't deserve it. But I think I know someone who does. So I sold all the stocks in the portfolio and withdrew the money.
This is the exact amount of money Frederick has made so far, $1,007.59. Can you believe my goldfish made this?
And then I went back to where I got
A goldfish made over $1,000 in fucking stocks. Oh, that's awesome.
Got him. I got him from this tank. And now he's doing such big things. Excuse me, I'm looking to get some like better filters and food.
They're really good filters.
Awesome, I will grab this. What about food?
Stuff like this.
Oh, that's some fancy shit. Go. The rest is for Frederick.
Sorry?
It's for Frederick, the rest of it.
Frederick?
Yeah, the rest is for you can keep the rest. Frederick made it. Thank you.
My man just made $1,000. New Frederick stocks, yes. He looks so confused. He just got like a grand today. Like, could you imagine going to work and getting like either your paycheck or like double of your paycheck? That would be a good day.
Wham, Michael, why did it take you so long to make the video? I don't fucking know. It feels like I blacked out for 8 months and still somehow managed to procrastinate the video until the last minute like a dumbass. But hey, still faster than internet historian, baby. That's what matters. And as for Frederick, he made enough money to retire. He'll live out the rest of his days in fish paradise.
That's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, you can subscribe so you can catch my next upload in 2025. Shout out to Frederick for making this possible. Shout out to God, Jesus, Catholic Jesus. Oh, I made this poster for myself using the data from Frederick versus Wall Street bets because all the graphs needed to be in 8K, so why not? I figured I may as well sell it, so if you want it, you can have it, and if you don't want it, you do not have to get it. It is fucking
I fucking love. I love Michael Reeves.
gargantuan though. It's like my height. I mean, I'm a short fucking person, but like it's still a gargantuan poster. It's like 5 feet long. It has all the brands and when they were bought by like who at the exact times. It's lit. If you want it, you can go to my new URL. Pissbaby.art is no longer my store or whatever. I just didn't like the weird toilet humor. I'm trying to go in like a more elegant direction. Also, I forgot to renew the domain, and so somebody stole it. So now, pissbaby.store is my new best friend. It doesn't matter, you just click the thing in the description anyway. Yeah, thank you for watching. Yeah, okay, goodbye. See you in a year. The sponsor of this video is public.com. Do you wish?
Oh man, that was great. A fish sold more or made more money than an entire subreddit. Oh, that's It's fucking awesome. I guess I'll get onto the Internet Historian video now. It was very informative. I mean, it was just funny as hell, to be honest.
Aliens. They exist. And what's more, they're here and they've been walking.
Oh, I remember this. I remember watching this. Oh, these were so great.
Among us for millions of years. Just look up at the night sky. Each one of those lights is probably an alien. Shoot at them, and the police show up. Coincidence? Break into the CIA, just looking for clues. They put you on a no-fly list. Coincidence? There are no coincidences, only truth bombs, and the government is holding the fuse. Locked up tight in Area 51. And so our story begins with one man. Joseph Expedience.
Oh no, Joe Rogan. Oh man. See what his wild take is.
June 21st of the solar year 2019, Joe spoke to a whistleblower. Right! Bob Lazard. Now, Bob claims to have worked at the Area 51. And so, Joe summoned him to his sensory deprivation satellite, where he could ask him probing questions about that government facility.
Machine that was able to read the size of your dicks.
Yeah.
Huge.
View for yourself this incredible testimony before the UN takes it down.
You used to work at Area 51. When did things get weird?
Well, the way this went down was I only got hands-on with one of them, and I was...
Honestly, like, I don't really think there's anything at Area 51. Like, I mean, like, yeah, there was the memers that said they were gonna raid Area 51 because they thought aliens were there, but I honestly don't think there's anything there. It's just a bunch of pop culture stuff. Like, I honestly think it's like just like any other military base.
Fucking alien. It produced a little discharge from the bottom. It was exciting. You know, we turned the lights on, and all these guys are there. So
what in the fuck is this?
We have, you know, actual hardware from another civilization. It's a big...
I think that settles it. I think aliens are real. I think Joe Rogan's alien now.
Live in a house? That's bullshit. I like just swinging around on trees.
Absolutely.
We are the sex organs of the machine world. But for people who don't know, let's give them the bullet points. How tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
You don't seem to have any muscle.
You know-
Almost like a frame. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Well, the disc, the flying saucer that I worked on. I saw it sitting there, and I thought, oh my God.
Hey, Bob, it's probably a good idea if you shut up. I worked underground with the aliens. They shot my hand off. They're underground. There's bases. They're shooting lasers through the Earth's crust, and they move them at light speed.
You big fucking...
What? I'm not even doing anything.
Drop dead.
Hey, why don't you come on out to the Nevada desert?
Deal.
The fuck out. All right. That's it, folks. Good night.
These revelations were sent out all over the globe using beams.
Absolutely
And it started an incredible awakening, inseminating the people's brains with knowledge,
Who killed JFK?
flooring them with the revelation of it all.
An orangutan with a spear.
And soon they were bursting with righteous curiosity.
Area 51 is stupid. I don't understand the hype. I mean, yeah, I'm all for Area 69. I don't know about you.
Curiosity.
Why aren't we talking about Area 69? Like, fuck Area 51. Area 51's boring. Area 69 sounds way, way much more fun.
Is a human-animal hybrid.
All right, here's the Google searches for Area 51. That Big spike there.
That's
Wind
also
Turbine
another good
Players
one.
Podcast. You get the idea. And you see, it reached the right man at just the right time. A 21-year-old named Matthew Roberts. He had heard about aliens in Area 51 before, and he believed. He wanted to see them. Real bad.
Oh wait, is this the guy that organized like the raid at Area 51?
But what could he do? How could he possibly get into Area 51 to check him out?
Think.
Scenario 1. If I ran into Area 51, I would be shot and killed. Scenario 2. If me and all of my friends ran in, we'd both be killed. But scenario 3. If there were so many of us, thousands, so much fodder that they eventually ran out of bullets, then someone, surely, is gonna get through and touch the government in its special area. My God. Within minutes, he was drafting a Facebook post. They can't stop all of us.
I'm willing to die for the government. Let's do this.
On September 20th, 2019, we'll all meet up at the Area 51 Alien Central tourist attraction and coordinate our entry. If we Naruto run, we can move faster than their bullets.
The irony in that is Naruto running actually slows you down. Because you're creating more drag. Like, if you're running with a fist behind you, like, that's so much drag coming off of, like this part of your hand. But, like, when you go like this, there's not as much drag, so, like, I don't know, maybe.
See them aliens. This event then goes into the ether. And from here, it was up to the Facebook algorithm gods to decide what would happen next.
There's a lot here to be excited about. I think this could be very positive for our society and economy.
People from all across the flat world were receiving the invite, and they began pressing the attending button.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think there was like 10,000 people or so. And like, I don't know, like only maybe like 100 came to it. Excuse me.
Within just a couple of days, the event had picked up hundreds of thousands
Oh,
of
it was way
attendees.
more than I had thought.
People loved the idea so much, they began making memes about how they were going to raid the base. So many I can barely show you a fraction of them, rapid firing them out like the bullets that would soon be gunning them down. And so the event spread, and spread around the internet, eventually morphing into
Everyone who is something is going to raid Area 51.
Young people from all over the globe are joining up to fight for the future.
Nigel, a runner.
Null pointer, runner.
Stevens, agent. Simon, a runner. Freeman, 713. I am a sentinel.
Everyone's doing their part. Are you? We have the ships. We have the weapons.
Time to put his gun down!
We need soldiers. We need you all.
Oh, and just like that, the game was on. Halftime. Here's the new campaign. You're gonna love it. To be or not to be.
Plans disappear. Dreams take over.
I live. I laugh. I nod. Nod on every device like a blank canvas. I can be here and anywhere.
Jam a man.
Have you heard about their amazing prices? NordVPN.com/internet destroyed. Tell them who sent ya. Add over. Welcome to the mission brief. Let's do a bit of background on Area 51. Secret military base, first developed in 1955. This is what it looks like on Google Maps. It's approximately this big. Total area size, 51. And the volume, a big mystery. Until 1997,
51.
the government refused to even acknowledge that it existed. That is, until they were forced to by lawsuit. That lawsuit was about the death of 2 men who were former employees. And how did they die? Well, not aliens, but rather toxic fumes from burning garbage. Yeah, so what they would do is burn a whole bunch of cool, high-tech refuse on the lot, let the deadly smoke blow downwind, and the staff was stuck breathing it in. A few years later, bing bing bong, cancer. Other than that, the public hasn't really been told anything. So all people can do is speculate as to what the hell is going on in there.
I think that they are keeping remnants of a UFO there.
We don't know if it's aliens. We don't know if it's time travel. We don't know if there's minions in there.
Oh wait, was this the? Oh no, that's.
Virtual
I don't think that
reality
was. Never
seems
mind.
So incredibly sexy.
But what has been leaked is that they do test flights on new alien craft.
Motherfucker, don't you tease me.
Produce new alien tech. Breed the latest version of the newest, gayest frog. Do not get it confused with Roswell. That's over here. Area 51's over here. And the final thing that we know is that security is top notch. They have that thing locked down. So, you want to break in anyway. Okay, but it's going to require some research. And the first thing to find out, has anyone ever tried breaking in before?
I mean, probably.
Yes, several times. In fact, in January of 2019, an unnamed man broke through security barriers and drove 8 miles into the base. He got out of his car with a metal cylinder in his hands, and the military opened fire. He was shot dead at the scene. And there was this time when a film crew from the BBC was arrested for trying to get in.
This is BBC News.
This time when a vacationing family of 4 went off track. You get the idea. They're not messing around.
Put your fucking hands up. I'm not going to tell you again.
But there's one story to top them all. And Will disguise his identity, but he is my personal hero. The month is November. The location, Las Vegas. And the protagonist, a professional limo driver. Now, he's more than a little unhinged. He decides to start harassing and sending death threats to a lawyer, whom we think was going to represent his defense for this incident. If you've ever seen this TikTok, that's our boy doing donuts and driving backwards down the Las Vegas Strip. Anyway, fast forward 3 weeks. It's like 6 in the morning and this guy is already doing donuts at a car park near the airport. Then he decides to drive from the car park into the airport itself. Offense? No problem. He drives right through it and onto the runway. He's just driving around, whizzing between planes, almost crashing several times.
My man's playing GTA. He has a 5-star wanted rating.
Before eventually parking on a ramp. At this point, he jumps out, puts on a clown mask, and storms right up to a private jet. He announces, aggressively, to the flight staff that there is a bomb in his limo. Quote, "I have a fucking bomb. I'm going to blow this place up."
Oh my god, man.
His plan? To commandeer this private jet and take it to Area 51. However, as sound as this plan was, the quick response by police meant that it wasn't really working out. So, he bails back to his limo, tries to make an escape, until eventually police catch up with him. At that point, he is quickly arrested. They take him in for questioning, and he starts.
Come on, you can't tell me that this guy isn't playing GTA in real life. Like, no shot. Like, he's definitely playing GTA.
Starts telling them, "That's right, I did it to see the aliens." He also told them to refer to him as the Chosen One. And by the way, I have high security clearance. Also, I'm involved with the mob, and someone owes me millions of dollars. Later on, the bomb defusal crew checks out the limo and determines that it's just a fire extinguisher with a bunch of wires and duct tape and some fairy lights. Now, at some point, he gets out, presumably on bail, and CNN reporters walk up to him and start asking him questions. No statements from me, he says, but you should talk to my lawyer. And then he proceeds to hand them the business card of the lawyer that he's been sending death threats to for the last 3 weeks.
Okay, that's actually kind of funny.
Amazing. After all that, the judge ordered that he be sent to a mental hospital for assessment. Or so they say.
Ooh, how convenient.
Okay, so people have really died trying to do this. That means we're going to have to be a little more covert. So over at Area 51 HQ, the military can see that Facebook numbers have reached 1 million. And it doesn't take a genius to calculate that even if just 1% of them show up, that's... Wait a minute. Run those numbers. This many people. In a crowd that big, there's bound to be at least a few who'll do something stupid. In fact, the military took it so serial that they even went over the nuances of Naruto running.
Oh no. Actually, they did. That's great if they actually did that.
This is a real slide, by the way, and it required a
Oh
real
shit, it is real. That's fucking awesome.
demonstration, of course. Now, some undercover operative then took a photo of that brief, and they uploaded it to Reddit.
They intend to use our tactics against us.
Alright, so if the military decides to do this, things could go pretty badly for Matthew. So Matthew goes back to his mind palace.
Think.
Let's not keep saying it's a raid. Instead, let's do a music festival. This would give Matthew an alibi and throw authorities off the scent.
I'm willing to music festival. For the government, let's do this.
Alright, Reddit, here it is. Alien Stock 2019. The official EDM party, hosted by Matthew Roberts. Set to take place in Rachel, Nevada, a town that just so happens to neighbor Area 51. It has 50 total residents and practically no infrastructure.
Could you imagine that there's like just 50 people here and then like 10,000, at least like 10,000 random people just show up to your town? Like that'd be crazy. I would be so confused.
Perfect. Yeah, nice try, fellas, said the military. And the captains and the generals all started planning their own EDM party. With the deep state. 3 groups in particular. Introducing Group E, the E local state police. Police have their work cut out for them because, owing to this party, they think there could be upwards of 50,000 people descending upon the little town of Rachel.
Lincoln County commissioners trying to tackle the tough task of preparing for a potential inundation of people, and Sheriff Kerry Lee has less than 30 deputies.
The county declares a state of emergency, and they allocate an extra $250,000 worth of enforcement for the weekend of the raid, as well as an extra 300 police officers and paramedics.
That many people are going to stress the community to the point that we can't cope with it.
This is some of the most exciting stuff that I've ever gotten to work on. And I'm
Hold on, Mark. Group D, the defense.
I'm going to take out my gun and shoot somebody.
So the FBI agents that showed up, they showed up at 10 a.m. They contacted my mom, and she was like, so she texted me, she's like, FBI's here, answer your phone. So, because I was kind of scared at this point, but...
This report from the Nevada Department of Public Safety was released last year, and it features some very interesting details. For example, they caught a group of YouTubers trying to plant a tracker on the bus that goes to and from the base.
We're going to pull an epic prank.
Highly illegal. And you may not be that surprised to hear that the military isn't actually that worried about people breaking into the base. Turns out, they have automated weapons. Not automatic weapons. Automated, whatever that is. No, instead, they think there's potential that real
Bro, Metal Gear was right. Metal Gear Solid was right.
terrorists will, do the thing, or a thing. So, counterterrorism was given a budget to sweep for chemical, biological, radiological, and explosive material, although nothing was found. And there's just one last group getting involved as well, the corporate press. Disinformation agents in the mainstream media were getting involved. They immediately started warning people not to raid.
Use of lethal force authorized.
Spouting contempt for the Stormers.
What started as a joke Facebook event quickly turned into a phenomenon reaching
Well, it
millions.
began as a joke, but now it's turned into something much more serious.
A weapon that surpassed the Metal Gear. I mean, yeah, but like Metal Gear Solid was right though. Like they've got a lot of shit right. I should actually play some Metal Gear Solid on stream at some point.
Turfing campaigns by Late Night Haha Man number 1 through 7.
It's much more likely they'll.
Okay, like old school Stephen Colbert used to actually be pretty good. Like the new age Stephen Colbert isn't great.
See them tasers.
Laugh it all up. It's just a big joke.
I think out of like late night show hosts though, Stephen Colbert probably is my
And they
favorite
weren't
though.
afraid to give some of the biggest, brainest takes you've ever heard.
It's not clear the 1.1 million Facebook followers who said they are going to storm Area 51 are real and not Russian bots.
You're a goddamn genius!
Fine. We'll make...
Oh, fuck. Fox is something else, man. For the games, because they're good. I mean, yeah, I know that they're good.
You take us seriously.
I've played a little bit of 4, and I really enjoyed it.
Let the training begin.
And speaking of that, I think it's time for my workout.
And so the Raiders began training.
We train for Area 51.
I like their cosplay of Demon Slayer.
They began pushing their bodies. Go on, make it happen. Pushing their will. Pushing their spirits.
This is probably the most amount of work, this is probably the most amount of exercise that these people have actually done.
Pushing their minds. Pushing their friends and family.
My man's doing knee push-ups. He can't do regular push-ups, so he does knee push-ups. Oh man, that's great.
His patience to the limit.
Who wants to come with me to kick some alien butt? In September, join me. We out.
And that's what fitness will be like in the metaverse.
Oh no.
As we zero in on the day of the raid, the count is up to 2 million attendees, and that puts us on par with the world's largest standing army. So to coordinate...
Yeah, China has like such a big army, and like 2 million people went. Like there's no shot, no like that they wouldn't find anything.
All of these troops will need a battle strategy.
Lay it on us.
From r/memes, intel was being filtered down to the troops. Groups such as the Minecraft YouTubers, the Normans, the Weebs, Facebook moms, the Kyles, the Chads, the Crackheads,
Is it a 5 o'clock free crack giveaway?
Florida Man, the Australians, the gay Reddit mob.
I like how it's just one Florida man. They only need one Florida man to go. If they had like all of the Florida men go there, yeah, they would have gotten in there at some point. Like, let's be real.
Okay, this thread is locked.
And the North Korean defectors, they all had their role to play. So, Godzilla comes in from the east while the Australians make a distraction that allows the Minion cosplayers to breach from the south. Of course, these very serious strategies would have to be disguised as memes so that they could be spread across YouTube, Reddit, and TikTok without the threat of being... Although, not everyone was as tech-savvy. Authorities managed to nab one of the main cartographers.
One Florida man is apparently very powerful. Yeah, I mean, like, their form of pest control is lighting raccoons on fire, so I don't really know what to tell you, my guy.
and they pressured him into an interview on the television.
It took me a total of 5 minutes to put this image together. It was sort of like a battle strategy almost.
It was completely rooted in satire.
That was just completely rooted in satire.
And no one should raid.
If it works, why not? I mean, I guess so, yeah.
A joke.
And completely just a joke.
Mission counting sheeple complete. You can take him out. Okay, so remember how we're not raiding anymore and it's just a music festival? Wink, 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 wink. Well, bad news.
Okay, so it sounds like you maybe are looking at changing venues. Possibly.
Possibly.
It's all up in the air. We're putting Maddie on the spot here.
There's a lot of challenges, so.
But it's 2 weeks away, so it's kind of got to like figure it out, I guess, somewhat soon, right?
Yeah, it's all kind of falling apart. See, Matthew had organized Alien Stock with a few other people, but his main business partner was Connie West.
I didn't plan it. It planned me.
But Matthew is the headliner. His name is attached to everything. And he's starting to get worried about a Fire Festival type situation in the desert.
Be a Firefest 2.0.
He wanted to make sure there's plenty of water, food.
Oh yeah, Firefest, like, was great. Like, we were on Twitter on that day. It was great because it was just like a bunch of like rich kids going to a festival, and they ended up like living like how refugees did when like fleeing war and shit. Like they were given refugee tents, they were given like very minimal food that wasn't even good. It was really funny, and it was like a rude awakening to, you know, how some people actually live. To a bunch of rich kids, and it was a glorious day on Twitter.
Security, insurance, etc., etc. And here, deals and communications start to break down. Eventually, there's a lawsuit.
Revenge at its finest. It was great.
It's kind of boring.
Things that they were supposed to pay for, I'm stuck paying for.
Who cares?
We're going to skip it. But the TLDR is that they had a disagreement, and Connie said,
I don't have to prove to you what I spent. You didn't sign a fucking contract with me to begin with. So guess what? I don't need to prove to you a motherfucking thing.
And Matthew said, Matthew then took $70,000 worth of sponsorship money and declared Alien Stock. Matthew then took
by Pornhub? Oh, that's awesome. Imagine getting $70,000 from Pornhub.
$70,000 worth of sponsorship money and declared Alien Stock and Rachel cancelled. But then,
I'd take $70,000 from them.
Light walks in.
It's the fun night. We're saved.
They say, hey, why not do it here? In the Vegas. It has plenty of lighting, indoor plumbing, it has everything. Matthew said yes. And then, using the website for Alien Stock, he told everyone to not go to Rachel and instead to go to Vegas. Welcome to Alien Stock Las Vegas, sponsored by Bud Light. And also Pornhub, but it's a long story. Connie was left to pick up the pieces. However, she would not be discouraged so easily. She decided to press on.
It's going to be a great party. No matter what, it's going to be a great party.
She had to take full control of the event in Rachel, dipping into her savings and even mortgaging her home.
I'm working out of my own pocket.
I think this is a liability. I'm out.
So Pornhub is the real hero. I mean, yeah, they usually are. I mean, like, remember when like they had offered, I think it was Vladimir Putin, 2 years of like, or it was a year of free Pornhub Premium, just, you know, so that he wouldn't block the Russians' access to porn. I'm like, bro, people just want to jerk off. Like, need to do that.
Declare what's going on is worth doing a very fast recap because there's an event in Rachel that's been declared cancelled but also not cancelled. Also, I forgot to mention there's an event in Hiko that isn't cancelled but it will be on the second day. There's also that third festival in Las Vegas, which has the former promoter of the first one, and they both share the same damn name. And none of this has anything to do with the actual raid on Area 51, which is here, which has several gated entrances, by the way, and none of them have been declared the official gathering point. Confused? Yeah, pretty much everyone was. It's a goddamn mess. People, rightfully, put the whole thing in the too hard basket, and instead of going to one in the middle,
they're like leftists when it comes to like planning an event.
Nowhere, just went to the one in Vegas. let's fast forward to the weekend of the raid. For better or worse, Rachel is about to open its doors to the millennials.
Hell yeah! Alien Star!
Encore now has come to an abrupt halt. Don't let the aliens get you, Ken.
Do you believe in aliens?
I don't. Run! Get out of here!
Oh, you know, I want to hear about the alien liberal agenda. They could have some good talking points. We don't know.
To protect my mind from interference.
See, if white people just focus all their resources on like this shit and crystals, we'd be okay. Like this shit is fun, right?
Wander. Don't let me leave, Murph!
It could be anything stock, but it's alien stock.
How do you see you walking with that shirt up over your head like that?
I know. And the first ones are supposed to be always, the best ones.
Paranormal lawyer, PhD level field investigator.
Stuff in downtown Las Vegas. Did they change the name, or is it still alien stock?
I think I'm on my highest high I've ever been in my life. Look at it.
And we are taking a look kind of the area here. You've done a lot of work in a very short period of time.
The security's here, the medical's here, the food is here, the people are here. And most importantly, toilets are here.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I just went through a breakup, guys.
Well, it wasn't quite the event that they had hoped for, but they did do a commendable job of acting retarded for the news.
This is the most fun I've ever had in my life.
That must have been really, really good high, whatever. I mean, yeah. I love the fact that, you know, they actually just didn't storm Area 51 and they just messed around with the news. It was really funny.
You think of yourself as a hero?
I do. Here for scientific reasons.
This is like the most millennial thing that's ever happened.
But don't let's forget, HECO, or the HECO. No one knows how to pronounce it. This event was being hosted by George Harris of the Alien Research Center.
The owner of the center is Las Vegas businessman George Harris, creator of Alien Tequila.
Okay, he's just trying to, he's such a grifter. He's just trying to make money off of it.
If you want to have fun, if you want to have a great look, it's a great day.
Base camp was equipped with a vendor village of 10 food trucks, a gift shop, and 3-time Grammy Award winner Paul Oakenfold. For some reason.
I was told there's a lot of people coming.
Well, right now things are kind of slow at the HECO event here, so that's kind of a disappointment.
HECO Base Camp was expecting somewhere between 1,000 and 20,000 attendees. It's quite a range.
Maybe 50 people here.
Clapping some alien cheeks.
Yeah, but no cheeks are clapped
where's
at
the
all.
cheeks?
None.
Where's
Zero
the
cheeks.
If you had an opportunity to clap some alien cheeks, would you? I know I would.
This is like the first of a big thing.
But it wasn't. In fact, it seems as though the majority of the attendees were actually the press.
One lady believed that her parents is actually alien.
So, after the first night, they decided to cut their losses and cancel the whole event.
You know, the producers of the show, it's very, very, very expensive. And it just didn't make sense.
Because basically all of the attendees were stolen by
Alien Stock 2019.
We're gonna go out to.
It depends on the alien. I mean, I'm not really too picky on the alien. It could be a tentacle monster, it could be a slime monster, like even like anything from like drama. Not really too picky. Can't sleep with with all of them. Be very good, right? I mean, when there's a will, there's a way, my guy. Humans have done weirder things than aliens. So, just saying.
Rachel, and then we decided that we didn't want to get stuck in the desert. As much as I like Mad Max, I don't want to live it.
The Las Vegas Alien Stock, sponsored by Bud Light, was a smash hit. They've got carnival rides, photo ops, video games, and even a pool. No running.
Who could have predicted this? You make a post at 2 a.m. on a page that has 62 likes, and now you have thousands of people that are ready to come out to your show. It's absolutely amazing.
Back at Military HQ in Anne Orlando, operations were ramping up. They're adding more guards, upping the security, and enforcing a no-fly zone across the county. They were even infiltrating raider groups.
Bro, why would you have a no-fly zone over Area 51? Do you think any of these guys know how to fly a plane? Like, it's not easy.
Be standing next to an officer and not even know it. There's a big undercover presence here.
And they were giving stern warnings from the PR team. They posted this tweet. The last thing millennials will see if they attempt to raid Area 51 today.
Sorry to disappoint you, Yugi. Huh? You triggered my trap card!
Millennials immediately seized upon the tweet, doing what they do best by pretending to be offended.
I mean, yeah. Of course, there's a way. All I'm saying is that the alien has to have a good personality to even have a chance. I mean, I wouldn't really know what they're saying or what their opinions are or what their thoughts are, but like, I don't care, man. And like, even if aliens did come and like invade us, like, there is no shot that they aren't at least like a hyper advanced socialist society. Like, they'd either have to be like socialist or communist at the very least. So I'd be like, probe me all day.
Successfully having the tweet taken down and forcing a public apology.
I'm retarded.
Alright, this video is getting very...
But that's actually kind of funny, though. They pretended to get offended and got the tweet taken down. That's really funny.
Long. Let's hurry up to the main event. The raid.
Hey, are you coming?
Yeah.
Did he just say raid and then like after that say Shadow Legends like very quietly? Bro. I like his accurate portrayal of the Area 51 raid. I love it. Super accurate to what happened.
Smoking these meats.
This will be shown in history classes. Yeah, it definitely will.
Toilets are here.
手立てがあります。それは誇りのない。屋敷将軍。愚かなさ。あれは浜で死にました。もう。
There's so many fallen comrades. Oh no.
今一度己に問う侍よ。我に下るか。人が焼ける匂いが。天火山か。
俺が死ぬとでも思ったか。根源が滅んだくらいで。
世の摂理に反している。叔父上が受けた恥、すすぎに参った。
壁登りや谷渡りに。
Could you imagine having an elevator button that reads alien room? It's like having a folder on your computer called porn and putting your porn in there.
Thank you for saving us. We are so grateful and horny.
Very effective. I mean, yeah. But like, come on, you can't tell me you wouldn't at least try and clap those cheeks. Like, aliens got it good.
And yes, we wish to be your big titty goth alien GFs. And you won't be a virgin Reddit browser anymore.
It wasn't quite like that, but it was pretty close to something like that. Although I guess you could say that only a small group showed up to the main gates themselves.
Well, a million people.
Of over 2 million people, in total only about 200 actually went. But it's
not your type. What, you don't like gray? You don't like big titty gray aliens? What's wrong with you?
The quantity, it's the quality that counts.
Nice outfit.
Thank you.
Now throw him over.
People mostly behaved themselves.
I mean, I think it's awesome. You guys are following the laws, following directions. So. Yeah.
But they weren't about to leave without a consolation prize. Get some of the Area 51 soil. Top secret rock. Top secret rock.
Where are they? You can have it. It's from Area 51.
Thank you.
Okay.
Also present at the raid were a few YouTubers.
So I came here to get myself an alien as a pet.
We're here to rescue the alien!
It's like Halloween, but we're just annoying people.
Are you guys?
We need to do more of this. Like, we honestly need to do more of this kind of stuff.
Gamers playing games.
No? You watch anime?
Yeah, so you got the rebellious youth, and then you got people trying to lure E.T. into a cage with Reese's Pieces and stuff. That's a pretty good summary of the crowd that you have out here this weekend.
But respect to the true hero.
Are you saying that wouldn't work getting E.T. into a cage, though? Like...
Security. For keeping everyone... Ah, just kidding. It's the guys who got underneath this fence. God bless them.
Oh no!
And this cameraman, whose foot raided the base.
That's a foot I see.
And this random woman who decides to just start walking.
What?
Police, right there. No one's stopping her. Oh my god. She's gonna make it. She's going home. She gets charged for trespassing and receives a $1,000 fine.
Unfortunate.
But soon it was time.
Feelings I like to play as. Yeah.
Time to wrap up.
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. Mola's pretty great.
And if they were late again, there would be big trouble.
Good night, everyone. Yeah, I'm going to sleep now.
Psych, it's not over.
There's one more thing that I want to tell you about today.
Because storming Area 51 would go on to inspire a plethora of other events. The storming of Loch Ness. That thing can't hide from all of us.
We think we've seen it.
What did it look like?
It looks like a big stone.
Over 27,000 said they were going. Actual number 6. Okay, fine. Storm the Bermuda Triangle, why not? It can't drown all of us. And potentially millions actually went. But the evidence would be lost, so how would you know?
I am under the water. Please help me.
Or how about storm the Vatican? They can't molest us all. Interesting twist on that one, though. Someone...
Yeah, are you sure about that?
Cancelled the event. But overall, everyone had a pretty good time. Isn't that what Area 51 was really built for? It's something like that, you know what I mean? I haven't quite...
I guess that's it. That was pretty great. No lie. All right, I want to watch one more Michael Reeves video of him teaching a robot dog how to piss.
So there's this company called Boston Dynamics. Their whole purpose in life is to create the most advanced robots the world has ever seen. They've gone from nothing to a heroin bot that snorts crack and just wriggles around on the ground, to actual moving quadruped robot, to this insanely advanced robotic dog named Spot. It can map its environment and learn in real time from things around it. It can traverse terrain that robots could previously never walk on. It's the culmination of 30 years of research and development. It's an engineering masterpiece. I want to make it piss beer into a cup, so... It was 2 years ago when I watched the reveal trailer for Spot on the Boston Dynamics YouTube channel, and I lost my goddamn mind. And it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. It was a robot that...
Yeah, these robots are actually pretty cool. And it's kind of terrifying on how awesome they are.
Could move like a dog. I had to see it in person, so what did I do? I messaged them, I emailed them, I even tweeted at them. I would do anything for a Boston Dynamics robot dog to just be here. And what did they say? We're only giving it out to construction companies. And of course I was bummed about that. What am I gonna do?
Do they make them? Does who make them? The Boston Dynamics? I think so. Because they made this one.
So I just accepted it, moved on, and then 2 weeks later, what do I see but Adam Savage gallivanting around with the robot dog? Does he look like a construction company? No, those bastards lied to me. And so I waited, and I waited, and I waited.
What's the purpose that they serve? Generally, like going into like unreachable areas that humans can't, or going into dangerous areas help save lives, as well as they've also been used in military practices when it comes to entering in active war zones.
Waited until Spot became
Those are just some of the things that they can do.
publicly available. And then with the help of offline TV and the sponsor I lied to about where their entire budget was going, there's a Boston Dynamics robot dog right here.
Poggers.
And it's the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Look at it, it's so sick. You can control all of its movement with this little baby shitter Nintendo Switch controller, but also they let you write code for it, and the API documentation is only kind of ass. At that point, you don't even need the fucking GameCube controller because you can run it entirely off of software written on a computer. The level of advancement is just staggering. It feels like I'm holding a piece of the future in my hands every time I execute code on it. And above everything, it's just so fucking cool. It's so sick. How did they make it so sick? But you still lied to me. You lied to me, Boston Dynamics, and so you're gonna have to watch as I turn your state-of-the-art robot dog into a machine that pisses beer into a cup for me to drink. Why specifically that? Because it sounded funny. I don't fucking know. Let's say I want to get shit-faced.
And it is funny.
You know, to cope. But eventually, my beer's gonna be gone, but my sadness isn't. So what am I gonna do? Fill it myself like some fucking Neanderthal? No, here's what I want. I wanna place my empty cup on the ground. Then I want Boston Dynamics Pissbot over there to use its cameras and survey the room for any red solo cups on the ground. If it detects one, I want it to move over to it, position itself above it, and piss me a nice tall glass of beer so that I don't have to. And then I guess it can fuck off and find more cups to piss in. And you gotta start somewhere, right? So let's start where most things do. That's right, the penis. This is my first prototype of the penis. And by prototype, I mean this is what's going on the dog. I'm not gonna make another one. Like all penises, it's a 2-axis gimbal driven by servo motors. So it moves left and right and up and down, all to aim this guy, which is, I guess, kind of like the urethra. It's what's being fed the pressurized beer. Using water right now, but it's using it like a solenoid to control it. And better example, it's facing straight down like it will be when it's attached to the dog, and I can move it around and reposition and kind of aim the piss so that, which is kind of cool. But the thing is, I'm the one aiming the piss. We need a way for the dick to detect the cup and aim itself automatically. I'm thinking a camera and some sort of computer vision system thing. That was a shit idea, Pass Michael, and I hate you forever. It turns out when you run computer vision stuff on a Raspberry Pi, you get like 2 frames a second, because it just can't process the images fast enough. That, or I'm stupid and set it up wrong. Probably the second one, honestly, but either way, it's not fast enough to track the
I mean, Raspberry Pis are also not pretty good for that either.
But ooga booga, caveman brain idea, we don't need the computer to understand that this is a cup. All we need is for it to see all the brightest pixels in the image because the inside of the cup is entirely white. So I wrote this code that generates a mask of the brightest pixels on the screen, and then it literally just averages their position. It's maybe the smallest IQ solution I could have come up with, but it works fucking amazing. But Michael, what happens when the floor
that's
is
probably
also
what I would have
white?
done.
Won't the camera get confused and not be able to track the cup? Well, first of all, fuck you, smartass. But also, yes, you're right. You can see that the camera's having a super hard time differentiating between the bright pixels on the floor and the ones in the cup. But there's a pretty easy workaround. First, you dynamically set the camera's brightness on startup, and 2, you just light the shot. And now, all that's being detected is the cup. This is thanks to a quirky little physics thing that Veritasium would call the inverse square law, and I would call light get more dim when it more farther away. And since the cup is closest to the light source, it will always have the brightest pixels in the frame. Please don't trust anything I just said. I didn't go to school. I'm stupid. I'm not a physicist. Don't trust. It could have all been wrong. It could have all completely been wrong, but it still works. It still works, right? So look. Now when we combine the camera system with the penis, it can aim itself perfectly at the cup anywhere it is in the frame. And when I leave it alone for a while, perfect cup of beer every time. Oh my god,
Are you thirsty?
Worked. I've never tested that before. I was like 95% sure it would fuck it up. Beer tastes like shit. It's time to attach it to the dog, but how do we do that? Maybe we can use movie magic. I forgot to record the attachment process. Let me go find someone to test this. Hey, buddy, pal. Let's go. I got some cool thing to test. So you're famously alcoholic among us.
Wait, no, I'm not.
So this is really gonna suit you very well. And welcome into the garage.
Why is a robo dog chained up?
Let me set the scene. Ignore the sex swing robo dog.
Sober.
I mean, imagine walking into your garage and you see a robot dog held up by a bunch of chains and stuff. Oh, that would be one interesting day.
Now you can get your fix. You don't have to fill the cup yourself. Uh-oh, empty cup, nothing in the cup. You don't want to pour it yourself. You don't want to pour the... You're an alcoholic, Yvonne. Take the cup, put the cup under the robot dog's crotch.
Like right. That's the crotch part, right?
I need to learn how to piss using that method, the pressured pissing method. I mean, I'm sure that there's a way to do it.
And now you have a nice cup of beer. Claim your prize.
Why is this free?
I haven't coded that part out yet. And that's yours to keep even.
Oh wow, thanks.
Yeah. Can't help but notice you haven't drank the beer yet. You gotta drink the beer, buddy, you gotta... I call that a success for the penis. Now all we gotta do is teach Spot...
Power pissing week. I mean, yeah. Fair. When there's a will, there's a way.
The robot to move around the room to any red Solo cup it can see. Originally I was gonna use the onboard cameras for this, but the quality on the onboard cameras is, it's rat shit. It's like a VHS tape from the 1990s. The TensorFlow model I've been using to detect...
Bro, why is it so awful? It probably costs like a shit ton of money, but the cameras are just awful.
The cup does not play well with the camera quality at all. But luckily, Boston Dynamics sells an improved camera attachment for Spot, so we just need to head to their site and pick one up.
Wait, how much was it?
Camera attachment for Spot, so we just need to head.
Bro, what the fuck? Well, this shit is crazy expensive.
To their site and pick one up.
Why is it $30,000? Why the hell is it so high?
I bought this security camera on Amazon for $30. To make it wireless for Spot is easy. Just take the output wire of your camera and adapt it over to RCA. Now that you got RCA set up, we're gonna plug it into your RCA to HDMI converter, and we all know the output of that bad boy is going in your wireless HDMI transmitter, which of course sends signal over to the wireless HDMI receiver, and then that is gonna go back to fucking wired HDMI. Plug in the... It's just that easy. Now you can vlog yourself on a wireless security camera. Or fucking, what was I doing it for? Right.
He revolutionized vlogging forever.
To put it on a robotic dog so it can piss beer into cups. Why have I not said this out loud before? Why am I doing... Sorry about that, about me, but look at this. I've cleared the dog's astigmatism, and it can finally see clearly enough for us to teach it how to find one of these.
Dogs will no longer see in black and white. They can now see all colors. If you don't want your dog just to only see in black and white, just, you know, shove a security camera in its brain. It'll see colors clearly, right? That's how that works.
All right, I'm gonna put the program I wrote for Spot up on the screen now. I know you kind of have to be a giga genius to understand code, but let's try to walk through some of the advanced logic I use to program the dog. If Spot sees the cup to the left of the screen, he turns left. If Spot sees the cup to the right of the screen, it turns right. And now maybe the most advanced concept in Spot's programming, if it sees the cup in the middle of the screen, he will walk forward to it and place his dick above it. I unattached the dick, but you get it, right? Is it not sick as shit? Is it not cool? Do a security camera,
awesome.
Right? So I think the idea is you give it some sort of idle animation. I just set it to spin around in circles, and then you're chilling. You're day drinking with the boys. No, you're not. You've been in quarantine, and you haven't seen anyone for 8 months. You're sad, and you're drinking alone.
All dogs go to color heaven. True.
And I don't want to fill up my cup when I'm sad and drinking alone, so I plop it. See the cup. Fuck. Really should have tested it before doing that whole spiel. Oh, it fucking worked! Higgins. Wait, if fucking works. Why didn't it work the first time? Then it works. The first time was a fluke and I have to fix nothing. Yes. Go, fucker. Yes. Yes, go. Piss in your cup. That's so fucking sick. That's so cool. That's so fucking cool. That's so sick. That's all the discrete parts. That's the dick. That's the pissing. That's the moving yourself around the room to the cup. I just have to fucking mush them together. Welcome to the future of alcoholism. We've been there before, all cup and no beer. That ends today. Introducing Boston Dynamics PissBot. Nope, not Boston Dynamics. Please stop sending us cease and desists. PissBot, just PissBot. Hours of research have resulted in the most advanced beer pissing robot the world's ever seen, all at the flick of a switch.
So one way to get your shots.
Bum 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 bum. Robot dog. You can be wherever you want, right? That's the magic of it. You put it on the ground and you just back away.
No way.
Do it again, do it again. Oh no, the tank pressure. Oh God, it's slipping in the piss. Oh, go. You know what, do your thing, go. It's perfect.
No, wait. Wait. Where is it? Oh, Michael.
Look, a steamy cup of beer. Then you barely even notice him. He's just like in the corner of your house.
What's he doing now?
And he just like waits until someone else needs their beer filled. Come on, you're really embarrassing me in front of the people right now, honestly. Oh no, you did it again. Come on, bud, come on. You know you can.
Okay.
Yes! Yeah! And then you just grab.
Oh my God.
No, move over here, bud. No, don't go to the piss. Don't go back to the piss. Oh, move this. No, oh, shit.
Oh, fiend.
God fucking damn it. PissBot is working flawlessly 35% of the time. It's working so well that I wanted to hop on a Zoom call and show this innovation to Boston Dynamics, but guess which company ghosted me once again? At this point, I just want to drive to their headquarters in person and give them a piece of my mind. Did you know Boston Dynamics is in Boston?
Kind of figured as much.
I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to drive from Los Angeles to Boston. I definitely underestimated the amount of time. Oh, hey, it's the school I went to. Lily, look, it's my old college dorm. Good times, man. Good times at this college. Oh, man, it fucking sucked. I hated it here. Anyway, I completely underestimated what 45 hours of driving feels like. My legs are like 90% blood clots. I just couldn't think of a way to end the video, and I went, herder, Boston drive funny. I don't know, maybe I just needed to get out of the house and severely overcompensated. Haven't made a video in a while, and I kind of miss it, so I'm looking forward to making more. Ideally, without the 6-month break in between, but no guarantees. The new Minecraft update looks pretty sick, and so that I might be busy with that for a bit. And hey, after 8 days, a couple pop tires, and 2,988 miles, we made it to Boston. So I can finally do what I came here to do. Ha! Get pissed on. All right, let's drive back.
That's it?
Yeah. Yeah.
He drove all that way just to do that.
I forgot to record this before I left for Boston. We're in the middle of Oklahoma right now. It's extremely windy. There's some pretty sick cows behind me if you haven't seen those yet. If you like any of the shirts I've worn in this video, they're mine. I made them on...
Yeah, I'm gonna probably watch one more video and probably wrap up stream. Watch
Civil
Civil War.
Every nation's greatest fear. In 2020, the United States saw the start of the longest civil war in its history. The year is now 2050. America is no longer habitable, and thus the front lines have shifted upwards into the cold hell of space.
Fuck you, you space rebels! You stupid turkeys are gonna fuck all your mothers! Get that door closed! Get that door closed right now! Get out of here!
Glass
Okay.
floor ceiling.
Evac
See you
points
later.
through the store. I just gotta hack the controls. I'm fine. Ooh. Do you have the artifact? Sacrificed a lot of good men's lives to get this. Why? 5 years from now, it's gonna be an old mining colony outside Mars. Finds that thing buried in the bedrock of an asteroid. The only reason we know that's gonna happen is because when they touched it, it sent them 30 years back into the past. Turns out they're able to program it, load it with software.
Initiating.
Lets it manipulate radio waves backwards through time. So it's a time machine. Internet time machine. Check it out. I'm looking at September 30th, 2020. I'm on Twitter. Despacito's trending. This is the day the war started.
So contact news organizations, politicians, media outlets.
Yeah, Brass tried that the last time we got our hands on it, but never worked. Nobody ever believed us. That's why they sent me.
So how does it work? Is it like does it change the timeline of things like when you use it, or how does it,
Hey, kid,
what are the rules?
Hey, I don't have a lot of time to fucking explain the whole thing to you. Like, how much exposition do you need? If I make a post on my computer, it goes back 30 years. Is that clear?
Well, yeah, I still don't know what you want to do with it, though.
What I'm gonna do with it? I'm gonna stop this civil war before it ever begins. Hang on one sec, check this out. I'm horny, hashtag Despacito, and tweet. That's gonna help.
How's that gonna help?
Hey, stop asking fucking questions. Oh, fuck, I'm so fucked. Oh, hey, students, how's it going? It's me, your teacher. It's been a long time since I've seen you. This message is being broadcasted from 30 years in the future during a terrible civil war that's lasted decades and claimed countless lives. So not really a feel-good episode, but hey, I'm gonna prevent all of that right now with some good and proper internet comment etiquette.
Who are you talking to?
Listen, kid, you gotta let me just do my thing, okay? This is how it works. This is how I get it done, all right? Oh, God, it's lit my tits up. All right, well, before we get started, I'm gonna have to make sure I got my little internet time machine calibrated properly. So I'm gonna just load up a little random video from 30 years ago and farting through a hole in my shorts by Nathan the Open Butt Sitter. Cool.
What the
and
hell?
play. All right, pretty sweet video. Now I'm gonna leave a comment, test this thing out. Hey, Fart Guy, today's your lucky day. Here's next Tuesday's winning lottery numbers: 35, 15, 28, 67, 49, 02. When you get rich, I want you to take all that money and invest it in sex robots. Then, in exactly 30 years from the time of this comment being posted, I want you to call this number on your space phone. That's my space number. I'll answer any questions you have then. Hopefully the money will be enough to convince you this is real. Good luck. And you probably want to move to Canada or something. No reason. Don't worry about it. And fucking post that shit, huh? Oh. Hello? Oh, Nathan the Butt Sitter. Hey, how's it going? You got my message. Yeah, you're rich. Very well. Hey, you're welcome, buddy. Oh, you have questions? Look, man, I was just testing something out. I gotta go. All right, well, we know it works. Man, that guy waited 30 years to make that call. Well, whatever. Oh, shit, are you kidding me? I can play video games from 30 years ago. Hey, guys, I'm from the future. What are your names? I'll tell you if you're still alive in 30 years.
No.
He's not. What's the button to high five? Oh, fuck, I team killed everybody. Well, anyway, I'm sure what you're thinking is, hey, how can internet comments stop the Civil War from happening? Well, that's because internet comments started the Civil War in the first place. Threat of civil war sent to Tri-County Health Department, police say. That's more than a threat, you fence-sitting pussies.
Man.
The email threatening civil
Bro.
war started on a kind note from the inbox of a receptionist at Tri-County Health Department in Greenwood Village. Quote, I know you're the receptionist and not responsible for these edicts, but tell the 9 petty tyrants who want to keep locking most of Colorado down to bleep off.
Uh-oh.
We the people are done with this bleeping bull bleep, and you're about to start a hot shooting no bull bleep civil war.
Wow.
NWO wins again. I'm so proud of our citizens. No more lies. Who's going to join the rebels? I know I will, if the war starts. It's time to turn this up to 10. Yikes. I hope it starts soon. The bleeps are bad words. Oh, fuck, this is bad. It's happening quicker than I
they're
thought.
so
I better
stupid.
say something to stop this. I wish I could time travel back even further to when the internet was being invented so I could show them this comment section. If they knew the internet was going to be easy enough to use that even dumb pieces of shit like you people could figure it out, they'd probably just keep the whole thing to themselves. I guess the idea of a civil war sounds exciting right now, but just wait until your bullshit podunk town gets cut off from every supply line, and your already rampant incest suddenly becomes the only way to generate food for yourself. Hey, do they even have schools where you're from, or did they just tack a board that says college above a coal mine and send you in? All right, see ya, morons. You guys all suck mad dicks. Don't do a civil war. And post. All right, well, that ought to cool things down.
What? You just antagonized the shit out of those people.
Huh? Oh, fuck, yeah, you're right. I definitely just made things worse. Quick, I gotta balance it out. All right, see, 2020, I'm a liberal, I'm hanging out on Twitter. What's something I could say to piss them off?
Tell them to vote for Kanye.
Absolutely. Vote for Kanye and stop recycling. Tweet. Yeah, there we go. See, what I did was I pissed off the other side equally, keeping things in balance throughout time. Now what I gotta do... What the...
Hello, old friend. Shit posting through time and space, are we?
Ah, Sean, you traitorous fuck. I see you finally got that promotion you've been looking for.
That's right. I'm the new captain of the SS Ted Cruz. And you've got my internet time machine. Also, I had a bunch of soldiers appear out of nowhere saying they joined the rebellion because of some shitty YouTube comment some asshole left about coal mines?
Yeah, that was me. Also, team killed a shitload of people. They might be showing up soon, too. Say, how come you haven't aged in 30 years?
Stem cells, bitch. I'm living forever. And once we lock onto your IP address, I'm gonna fry that laptop and your mission's gonna be just like you. Dead.
Why don't you come over here and try it?
You shut your mouth, pretty boy. What? What are you talking about? He's using a fake IP address?
Sean, if I told you once, I told you a million times. I use NordVPN.com/bigmoney, you stupid bitch.
Oh, fuck!
That's right, NordVPN.com/bigmoney. VPNs shield your internet browsing from snooping eyes by encrypting all your incoming and outgoing data. When the future war kicks off, NordVPN.com/bigmoney's got your back with thousands of super fast servers in nearly 60 different countries, no data logging, as well as Android and iOS apps to secure your mobile VPN for free. Hey, what's that? A TV show you want to watch is streaming online but only for a certain country? Is your favorite app in danger of getting banned from where you live? Well, with NordVPN.com/bigmoney, you can access the global internet and enjoy your browsing experience without borders. That's NordVPN.com/bigmoney for 68% off a 2-year plan, plus use code BIGMONEY for an extra month of NordVPN for free. You don't need to be 30 years in the future to know why you need a VPN. NordVPN.com/bigmoney. So yeah, anyway, that's my spiel. You should check out NordVPN.com/bigmoney.
That's all well and good. I'm just gonna have to come over there and shoot you now.
I'm really sorry about this, Sean.
Sorry? What do you gotta be sorry about?
Well, I just sent an email to your girlfriend from 30 years ago, Phoebe, the crazy one, and I told her you're cheating on her.
Oh, man. She would have killed me.
Holy shit, that was brutal.
No time to mourn. We got a mission to do.
Ooh, tasty.
Looks like the whole ship's heading our way.
I'm almost done. There's only one place I ever needed to go anyway. Facebook. Ground zero for the first shots of this war.
You got a lead on some underground group that is organizing attacks or something?
No. All that came later. Where it really begins is on this Facebook page right here. I love thick Mexican chicks with fat titties and cute faces.
Seriously?
Nobody knows how or why, but for some reason this Facebook page about loving thick Mexican chicks with fat titties and cute faces became a hotbed for political arguments that would boil over and out of the internet, leading to the destruction that we call our lives now. Hey everybody, how life treating you? I hope wonderful. If not, well, soon, very soon, all I gotta say, I love all you fucking haters. Suck a fucking fat cock. Have a nice day. Don't forget to add a post.
Seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, he also posted his dick right underneath. Check that out.
Oh, weird. I don't see any arguments underneath.
That means I still have time. Time to make sure it never happens. Yo, nice dick, dude. You could put a glove on the end of that thing and be a 3-armed mutant for Halloween. Anyway, I hope this video cheers you up. And attach video. It's just the fart video from earlier. You see, it's a callback. And save the world.
How the fuck is that gonna change anything?
Wait for it. 2020 was a different time.
But what about small tits with like really long nips? On my way to see what those nips do.
If your dick has those things growing on it like that, you need a doctor.
What is going on?
Oh, yeah, that's a good picture. Oh, I like this post even more.
This made me push my hot, fresh, homemade gordita crunch wrap to the side and frown accordingly.
I don't get it. Who are these people?
You and the boys had a bet going on. See what I did before the war? What's that poll up to, huh? What's it up to? I was a teacher. And these are my students.
I just coomed.
Oh, yeah, sexy little minion, that'll do it.
I respectfully dislike this post-Coney 2021. Hey now, that's a bounceable dick.
Uh-oh.
Ya saw, Queen.
There's somebody shooting one in Garfield's mouth. That's great.
What the fuck, Eric? Well, bounce on this for a few hours. Remember, Jesus died for your sins.
So many shirtless old men.
Oh, yeah. Good work, students. This Facebook page is completely fucked. There's no way anybody's gonna come in here and argue about politics. Probably end up getting goatsied.
No.
How do we know it worked?
What do you mean? It is working. Everything's changing. We did it. Can't you see? Can't you see we won? We stopped the war. Earned this.
What?
Earn it.
Bro. Oh, I love Eric's content so much. It's so funny.
Wow, it all really happened. Huh. Hey, anybody else voting for Kanye? And post.
God damn it. Alright, that's probably gonna be it for today. Later.